Revolution Radio, Studio B, at 11 a.m. on Saturday for free association, when we take a look at philosophy, spirituality, psychology, social issues, and geopolitics. It's every Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern on Studio B at freedomslips.com.
Going on here? I demand an explanation.
We work for a highly funded yet unofficial government agency.
An intelligence organization that fears intelligence, historically not awesome.
The United States is a democratic nation. Here the people rule. We build no walls to keep them in, nor organize any system of police to keep them mute.
Freedom isn't free at all. But it comes with the highest of costs.
We have you, the listeners, and the hosts at
Revolution Radio
for allowing us to bring you a platform of free speech.
Right now, it's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines,
clock's run out. Time's up. Wind is blowing cold and dark. On the road and no way out. Broken house, a smoking gun. On the run. On the run.
I know a lot of you come here, you watch TV, you wait every night for somebody to come on here and give you an answer for your lives, waiting for someone that'll come and say, hey, this is it. I don't have to settle for defeat anymore. I can rise up out of my routine. I can get a hold of myself. I don't have to lose. I can win. There's something inside me that's not going to let me go down anymore. But I'm not the guy. No, I don't have any answers for you.
It's the same old song. You gotta be somewhere at some time, and they never let you fly. It's like broken glass. You get cut before you see it. So open up your eyes. You've got desire, so let it out. You've got the power. Stand up and shout. Shout. Stand up and shout.
Welcome to the jungle.
Ladies and gentlemen, live from the broken down, low rent, sleazy, double greasy pirate radio Nut Hut Studios, it's time for the very first ever Southern.
Attention. Attention, please.
No more shines, Billy.
What?
I said no more shines. Maybe you didn't hear about it. You've been away a long time. They didn't go up there and tell you. I don't shine shoes anymore.
Relax, will you? For crying out, what's got into you? I'm breaking your balls a little bit, that's all. I'm only kidding with you.
Sometimes you don't sound like you're kidding. You know, there's a lot of people around.
I mean, I'm only kidding with you. We're having a party. I mean, I just came home. I haven't seen you in a long time, and I'm breaking your balls, and you're right away you get fresh. I'm sorry. I don't mean to offend you.
I'm sorry, too. It's okay. No problem.
Okay, salute. I'll go home and get Shine Box.
It's Friday night. Maybe didn't tell you up there. He don't shine shoes anymore. Got a good one planned for you tonight. Stay tuned. My name's Jimmy. Into the Microcosm is on the hour.
Place just south of Witches Valley, where they say the wind won't blow, and they only speak in whispers of the name.
It's Black Friday. The black evil of Black Sabbath on Black Friday. I think I see Epic Journeyman in the mist somewhere there. I think it's a beaver moon, too. Journeyman, are you there?
I am here.
Excellent. What's happening, man? It's good to see you. Happy Thanksgiving, late Thanksgiving. Has the melatonin kicked in?
Yeah, I had a pretty decent Thanksgiving. I was about to take a nap, go to bed early about 8 o'clock, and I got called into work.
Get out of here.
Yeah, it was awful. But it is double overtime, holiday time, whatever, so I guess it's okay. You know, but
back in the day, we used to call that sweet money. Sweet.
Yeah, I only had to leave the house and drive out there for 10 minutes and drive back, so it's okay. I got paid for, I don't know, half a day, basically.
You paid for half a day
Still.
for 30 minutes?
Yeah. See,
now, why is the working man against the unions? That's what I don't understand. Makes no sense.
I don't know. We'll vote against our messages.
Well, so far, Rockin' Rio is on the road, I think, down in Texas. Somewhere down in Texas. And I haven't heard back from Bruce MacDonald so far. He might have fallen asleep in his meditation cave on Sean.
I want to talk about that. I'm hoping that he shows up, man. I have something I want to talk to him about.
Is that right?
Dealing with that.
About the
later on. I mean, I'll bring it up earlier.
About the meditation cave?
About meditation and yoga and all that kind of stuff, yeah. He seems like the guy to, that's his thing, So, he's an expert witness.
Do you think modern civilization has gone downhill since the advent of the yoga pant? I mean, at this point, everywhere you go.
Well, it's gone downward dog.
Well, I'm just saying downward dog in yoga pants with a camel toe on top. Because it's been non-stops ever since I've noticed there's a correlation between the degradation of Western civilization and yoga pants. Because everywhere I go, it seems like people are on their way back from yoga class. I mean, every single female that I see has got yoga pants on, and now it's getting even worse. Because now there's a bunch of dudes walking around in yoga pants.
No, please. I'm not going to get that image out of my mind now. Don't do that to me.
I'm saying. It's getting out of the yoga pants.
If you're going to do that, just walk around naked. Don't even bother. Right?
I know, it's out of control, man. It is out of control.
Yeah.
All right, well, let me ask you a question, though. I mean, since we're asking questions, and it is in the microcosm, and that's what we do around here is ask questions. Is there a big difference between dudes wearing yoga pants and dudes wearing spandex on stage, wear long hair, rockers? I mean, isn't it the same kind of thing?
No, I was watching some
do you
French
think they
play.
do you think they were softening us for that, for this moment in time where the yoga pant would then become a multi-sexual, garment?
Well, yeah. Apparently, I was watching some French play rock opera thing, right? Startopia, which is where the song Dimanche gets this thing SOS from, which is a big hit, on YouTube. Yeah. And so the guy who's doing it, he's in that, the spandex, the whole thing. It's supposed to be a sci-fi theme. Mm-hmm. Like, what the F, man? And I start thinking about it, and the old Phantom of the Opera they did in the 70s, not the original Phantom of the Opera. The reboot, right? Same kind of thing. Like, what the hell is going on here?
It just struck me. It just struck me in the moment because I've never in my life considered it. But since we're asking questions, was Fabio gay?
Oh, totally. Had to be.
You think he was?
I don't think he really was. I just think that he was
It
was multi-marketing.
I don't know.
Maybe it's multi-marketing.
I'm just saying.
People who managed him were probably marketing to the gay crowd because he was the face of those Dime Store novels forever, going back to Gordon Lightfoot writing the songs about it.
Dude, right? Listen, I used to see Tony when I used to live down in LA. I'd see Tony Curtis. He'd come into like the Sunset. He'd come in there with two giant titty blonde ladies, but I mean, he clearly wasn't with them sexually, but everywhere he went, he would have them there. So you think Fabio was just because you remember they used to use Fabio on the cover of every single romance novel. It was like
that's what I was saying. Yeah, all those blonde dude. That's the reference to Gordon Lightfoot. Yeah,
his pecs were poking out of his ripped shirt or whatever. So the undying love story of two people, and Fabio's the guy. And there's a picture of Fabio on there. So when the ladies were reading the book, and they were imagining
Fabio's the lead, yeah.
That's what I mean. They were imagining themselves as the female character, and of course, Fabio was the male character. So I don't know.
I saw an interview with him in the '90s, or actually, it might have been the late '80s, where they hit him up. He's Italian, I believe. Actually, I mean, the name, of course, sounds like he is, but I think he really is. And they went and they talked to him. He was super, being paid well, I guess, right, for his posing for all these things. And it was, I think, it might have even been a Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous or something like that.
He was making some money, man. He was making money, dude. I mean, he was making money, big money. Whatever happened to Fabio?
He's that guy, right? Like, if you're going to imagine somebody farming out their image to AI, that's the guy, right? Like, that he should be the original. He should get retroactive royalties when the AI starts putting his image everywhere.
That's what I'm saying. He did have a tendency to walk around without his shirt on too.
Or that might be a dead button all the way down to the bottom button.
That might be a dead giveaway.
To catch it, and blow it open the rest of the way.
Yeah,
it shows sculpted pecs and oil and stuff on.
I don't think it's like that anymore. I don't think he doesn't represent the modern day sex symbol at all. I don't think. I mean, today,
it's weird, right?
Who does represent the modern day? Like, what is attractive to the modern woman?
I think to the modern shallow woman. Sorry for shallow women out there, but I mean, it is. I mean, so somebody like Joe Rogan, maybe, who's puts off a certain persona, but that also has a lot of wealth to back it up. So he's like the he's still brutish, but not as bad looking as Alex Jones, right? so he's kind of got that going for him, And I think that's.
I don't think generation.
Maybe Russell Brand, Maybe, I mean, I don't know.
I don't see Generation Z finding any of these people attractive for that reason. I think.
I haven't put a lot of thought into it. Obviously, I wonder actually.
What is attractive now? That's the thing.
Got to ask the girls. We got girls here on the show and the panel.
No, I'm just saying. For girls or for guys, what is attractive in 2023?
I was talking about what's attractive for me for girls right now. Actually, it's always smart girls to me. I mean, it always has been. But like I used to like Rachel Ward. Obviously, back in the day, Rachel Ward was awesome, and Jane Seymour. Both smart and very attractive. Like Jane Seymour from Live and Let Die, and Rachel Ward from Sharky's Machine, which I never liked.
In
movies back then, but she's awesome.
Okay,
right?
But I don't care about what you think about what attractive to you. What I'm saying is, what I'm wondering is,
But what is it
where's
now,
the
right?
marketing? Where's the marketing? Because see, what was attractive to you and I is not necessarily attractive anymore. In other words,
No, I don't think it is.
no. And the thing is, as a matter of fact, what might be attractive to you and I, and maybe ways that we have been because of, you know, just the programming, those things and those things that we're attracted to now have been turned around to where if you're attracted to it, there's something wrong with you. Or, you know, the thing is that what was funny isn't funny anymore. And if you try to make a joke that isn't funny anymore, then you're classified into a certain category. And I'm saying the people that are categorizing people in those categories, what is attractive to the demographic of Generation Z? Who's going to be the symbol? Like, I was watching this thing earlier about Cher. I was standing in front of my fireplace. My mom was watching a special about Cher. I'm sitting there, I'm thinking to myself, what the fuck is all of a sudden I'm hearing about Cher all of a sudden? Because I just heard about her like a week ago or something. It's like she's got a boyfriend. He's 39 years younger than her.
She's all over the news
trying
right
to
now.
cut.
Yeah, her and Barbara Streisand both. Yeah.
That's what I mean. She's trying to cut this guy that's 39 years old younger than her in on her will. And so that was the story that I saw about her like a week ago.
Did you see Dolly Parton?
Hang on a
yesterday
second. Hang on a second. All of a sudden, there's like a 2-hour Cher special on TV that my mom's watching. And my mom says to me, why are they showing this on this Cher? You know? And I said, I don't know. What the fuck? Is she coming out with a movie or something? And as I'm standing there, I'm listening to it. And she's on there and she's talking about how when she was in her very first movie and she was in it with Meryl Streep or whatever. And she went to the movie theater. And when they played the trailer and they said Cher was in it as an actress, she said everybody in the audience laughed. They laughed. And it hurt her feelings. It broke her heart, you know, or whatever.
Was it
And then
Mask
she
or Moonstruck? I think it was one of the two.
It was Moonstruck. And it was like, the thing is that what's funny about it is that she went on to, you know, win an Oscar or whatever. You know what I mean? So people discount.
Well, yeah, for the other one too, for Mask, you know. So the reason I brought up Dolly Parton, you probably missed it because you weren't watching football, I don't think, yesterday. But she performed with the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders at halftime yesterday for the Thanksgiving show, and she looked fantastic for a woman of 77 years old. I mean, it's amazing. So what I think they're doing is promoting the old sex symbols, you know, and I think so often we talk about they're gonna license an image. You know what I mean? And I think that's what it is. They're going to license the image of those younger versions of them.
You might be right, because that's what I was saying to my mom. I was saying, why are
Dolly Parton, and think about that for performing new songs in their voice, right?
Well, that's
what I mimic their voice.
That's what I was saying to my mom. I was saying normally when I don't hear about a celebrity and all of a sudden there's a news story and then all of a sudden, you know, obviously the publicity machine is in motion. They're getting me ready because something's about to come out where I'm going to have to pay attention because there it is. And so that's what I was saying as I was like, what is she coming out in a new movie or what the fuck's going on? Why is she all of a sudden in the news? Well, maybe you're right. Maybe there is going to be some licensing going on there. Who the hell knows? I don't know. Looks like Bruce will be joining us in a bit. So that'll be good. So listen, enough with these niceties. What have you been seeing now going on? Because this week has been a rather, I don't know, I almost want to call it quiet in reference to how it has been. Quiet on my side anyway. I haven't seen anything has cropped up on my radar that I would even want to pay attention to at all. At this point, I've paid attention, and I paid attention till I'm blue in the face, and I'm done paying attention. Unless you can divert my attention right now with some thing that's on your radar. Is anything on your radar?
Well, I got to say for Bruce, this is going to come on shortly, one of the things. But the one that came on my radar yesterday is, I'm a single guy, so I'm not going to cook Thanksgiving dinner for myself, right?
Right.
So I go to the one of the few remaining West Side Maui restaurant, cafe, tavern things that serves food. They had an excellent Thanksgiving dinner. It was great. You know, I had it early, had it like about noon, so it was really lunch, you know. And while I was there, a lot of people were there, and there's this you know how like it was just like a regular Thanksgiving get together in the sense that people start just gravitate towards politics or something for some reason, or world events. I don't know why. I guess you're just doing it at home, right? But the topic was secession. Why wants to secede from the Union? Like it is, and like we're thinking, hey, we can give them Puerto Rico.
I knew it.
Right? It's like almost the same flag, and then will anybody notice the difference?
Did we not do a show? Serious. Did we not do a show about the trade route that could go to Hawaii without having to actually come to the mainland of America?
Yeah,
I mean that is on. That is on.
Hawaii could be pretty prosperous. We just need a better military. Obviously, we have the American military here. But as far as like where we are, and we're so far away from everywhere else, right? That if we could just defend ourselves from China, right, basically, or even America at that point, secession is a pretty good option. And in fact, all the indigenous peoples were the last 3 states that were brought into the Union, right? It was Arizona was the 48th, and then Alaska and Hawaii. So the Inuits are pissed about Alaska, obviously. The Apache and Hopi are pissed about Arizona, even though a full quarter of the state of Arizona is still a reservation. I mean, full quarter. And then over here in Hawaii, it's like, yeah, why not? They didn't vote for it. It's, here you go, you're a state now. What? That's kind of how it went. And why not? I mean, of all the secession talk things you hear, like the other states, actually, Hawaii makes a lot of sense. I mean, it really does. So that was the topic. It wasn't so much about like how much it sucks to be in America or whatever. Right? That wasn't the topic. It was like, well, yeah, why does Hawaii need to be in America? Why do they need to be part of the United States? They didn't vote for it in the first place. Why not? It's kind of interesting. It's a kind of interesting conversation, and that's where it was going. So that was like the turkey Thanksgiving dinner conversation going on in my home away from home down at the local, one of the last 2 remaining places I can go get food over here without going to the hotel.
Well, I mean that's a powerful conversation. Seriously, hang on.
It's legit. Yeah, it's legit.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, I think you're going to see a lot more of that. For example, here, listen to this. You guys could use this. Here, this was here. I'll tell you who wrote this after I read a bit of it, if I can get it big enough to see it from my distant location here. To the governor of the state of California and the president of the United States of America. Subject, Declaration of Independence and the secession from the state of California and the United States of America. Dear sir or madam, we the citizens of the county of Santa Cruz, after due deliberation and a democratic referendum, have collectively decided to secede from the state of California and the United States of America effective immediately. This decision has not been made lightly. It is the result of feeling marginalized, unheard, unrepresented by the governing bodies that were supposed to serve us. We have enthusiastically and exhausted all diplomatic channels and find that the grievances have fallen on deaf ears. Therefore, we assert the right. Are you ready for this, epic journeyman? You ready to assert your rights?
The right to party?
That's right. Anyways, here we are. Decision has not been made lightly. We're feeling marginalized, unheard, unrepresented by governing bodies we're supposed to serve us. We have exhausted diplomatic channels, and we find that the grievances have fallen on deaf ears. Therefore, we assert our right of self-determination to declare ourselves a sovereign entity, henceforth to be known as the Independent Republic of Santa Cruz. We have established provisional governments and in the process of drafting a constitution that will guide our newly independent nation. We intend to establish diplomatic relations with other nations and international bodies as soon as possible. We must make it clear that any attempt to oppose our declaration through force will be met with equal force, and we have organized a defense militia and prepared to defend our sovereignty at all costs. We hope, however, that it will not come to this, that you and that our former governing bodies will respect our decision. We're open to negotiations to settle the outstanding issues, including and not limited to territorial disputes, shared resources, citizenship matters, and we propose that a neutral third party mediate these decisions. We look forward to your acknowledgement of our independence. and hope for a peaceful revolution. Epic Journeyman. Now I'm just reading that. That was generated by the AI, and it was sent to me.
Yeah, we brought that up like 3 shows ago when they did it right, and it's good, right?
I know. But see, if you read that with feeling, you might get a knock on the door later. So you got to be careful. Make sure you understand. I'm not.
Well, you can have the AI read it with feeling and then still get a knock on the door. That's the thing.
That's what I'm saying. Did you get
yeah, Trish B in the chat. We need to make her one of our moderators.
right.
Is brought up the fact.
There's a down boy. There was
brought up that Alaska and Hawaii are not on the cover of The Economist when they're talking about Trump being like the destroyer of the world kind of thing. That's the theme of that magazine, by the way. That's up. This,
did you look at it? You took a look at it?
But it's interesting. There is no Alaska and Hawaii. It doesn't show them on there. And I caught that right away too. So I wonder. They predict things. It's one of the things that might be predicted. Right? Is no Alaska, no Hawaii.
It could be. You never know, man.
Never know.
Especially in this crazy world, because like I say, I mean, what's the benefit at this point of being part of the United States of America? The military? I mean, what is the benefit of it? Why is it the United States of America anymore? Realistically, what do the states need America for, or the federal government for? Exactly.
The military. Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying. Even the military.
Somebody else coming here and taking it. Yeah. So, I mean, that's really all it is at this point.
So
I don't really see any other benefit.
So what are you saying? You're saying if all the states were like, if it was like Europe and everybody had their own border, you saying that all of a sudden the Chinese would be over here taking it over? I don't think so. I don't think so, man.
They kind of already are, though. It's just
I think it's
modern warfare doesn't use bullets. It uses talking points, right? It uses misinformation.
Mm-hmm. Well,
so I mean, basically, it's just trying to win people over through rhetoric. And once that happens, they just sick those people on each other, and that's how they come in after pick up the pieces. So
no, I don't think so.
It's scary, man.
I don't think so.
And AI is going to be good at it.
I don't think so. I don't think your analysis is solid. I think that the United States could break up very easily. For example, California, the economy in California is
the largest economy in the world. Sometimes it's the third. Yeah, absolutely.
So you have California, you have Texas, you have some of the bigger states. I mean, maybe some of the smaller states would get together, like you see. There's a move in Oregon. There's a big bunch
with Idaho. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. There's because they don't want to be
white. Whatever the white nationalists they want to call it. Call it the Great Redoubt. The Great Redoubt. They call it.
Well, the thing is they don't want to be a part of what's going on in the government in Oregon, because what's happened to Oregon is literally a dirty shame. They should be ashamed of themselves. What they let happen.
East Oregon and West Idaho.
The shit that they have let happen in Oregon and the Northwest is absolutely a crime. It's literally they should string those people up that let that happen. That is a crime. And I don't know. The government people is who I'm talking about too. I'm not even talking about the people who were in there doing the shit to the place, tearing it up, making it a place you don't even want to go to. Think about that, man. People's whole lives were invested.
It's that bad though. Like, have you been there lately? Like, that's the thing. Like, when I never really hung out in Seattle, so I only went there to the airport and stuff. But I went to Oregon quite a bit. I was going to go to Oregon State University back in the day, in Eugene, Oregon, and yeah, it was all good. Now that was a long time ago, and I've only been there. Last time I was there was probably 5-6 years ago, at least. But it wasn't that bad, I mean, it's just kind of like, I don't know. It is what it is. You get the rainy side of Oregon, you got the dry side of Oregon. You got
to ask yourself.
College classes on one side. By class, I mean the college class of thinkers. You know what I mean? On the west side, you got the survivalist on the east side. Pretty much. I mean, it sounds a little simplistic, but that's what it is.
You got to ask yourself, dude. Why? Why are they allowing all of these areas like downtown San Francisco, Portland, Oregon, all these places to utterly destroyed? Why?
Can't explain San Francisco. I mean, I can't because they're pretty good. I mean, one thing about that place, generally speaking, over the years, has always made an effort to keep it cleaned up. I mean, it's because it's so small. It's a tiny. I mean, there's a lot of people in San Francisco, but land area wise, it's not that big. right? And it's all those hills and everything. It's very, wealthy. There's a lot of wealth consolidated there.
Retail.
I don't get it.
Retail is dead. Retail is dead.
Well, I think that's
no paying.
I do think
$200 a square foot for a retail space someplace, when Amazon is sending shit literally almost to people in the same day in certain areas.
Yeah, that is what it is. I caught on that right away. Like if they were able to do their drone ships like they're talking about, I mean, literally these drone ships, these dirigibles, where they have these drones fly over and deliver stuff like that, it just hovers over these cities. They're planning that. They really were. Yeah, it would be the same day. It'd be a matter of hours to get things delivered. It'd be a floating warehouse in the sky.
They're already doing it now without drones. Because depending on what, because
it's unfair. It's what's that called? What's the name of that crime? I'm trying to think of what it's called. Brain lock. Where it's not competitive. It's not just a monopoly. It's you're cutting everybody else out because you've made a deal, right? To make it like we can't ship our guitar across town less $300. We're going to send me a brand new one with free shipping, right? Less than it cost me.
Yeah,
to buy.
Exactly.
It'd be the send one. It's crazy.
I mean, if you're buying groceries at the grocery store at this point, you're losing out because I'm telling you right now, shit is like 30% cheaper on Amazon. Whatever you're buying,
especially canned food. Yeah, it's all free.
Yeah,
shipping.
I mean, I'm just saying if you don't go, I mean, if you go European, where you buy all your dried and canned and whatever goods like that, you only buy fresh because you go down to the store and get it that day. You go down to the butcher.
Yeah, it's your exercise, and their cities are built that way. Like when I was in Hungary, that's one of the things I really appreciated about Hungary. I mean, you're all over Europe, but I spent 3 weeks in Budapest, so I got to really appreciate like living there that way. And that's how you do it. Yeah, you got your dried foods, and then you walk out every day and get your vegetables for dinner. And it's part of your exercise and get out and talk to people. And the way the cities are built are such a way that there's no traffic. It's just pedestrian traffic on the inside with the town square and all that stuff, and the blocks the way they connect. Then all the vehicle traffic's on the outside of that, so you never have to worry about getting run over by a bus. You know what I mean?
Sounds like
you happen to cross one block to the other block to get somewhere else.
Sounds like a 15-minute city to me, dude.
Well, it's ancient Europe in a sense. It's just carried it over.
That's what I'm saying.
It's like Epcot Center. It is. I mean, it really is like that.
Well, listen. The thing is, look, there is a collapse in commercial real estate going on, and then you have the coupling of the exiting of these giant stores, these retail establishments that used to be there. Listen. 10 years ago, on Black Friday, you know what we would have been doing? We would have been making fun of and talking about all the shit that we saw people killing each other over flat screens. So now now you can buy a flat screen for $20 now. You know what I mean? Flat screens are everywhere. But I'm just saying, just 10 years ago, people were killing each other, and there was like a rush. People are standing there, waiting. People used to wait for Black Friday. People used to sit there and wait to see what was going to be on sale. Because people were just running around. I mean, remember this, what I'm telling you. Remember what I'm saying right now. I'm going to shake you up and make you remember it. There used to be droves of people that their whole main mission was to just go into a mall and buy a bunch of shit. And you'd see people with bags and bags full of shit. They're just in there shopping their heads off, dude. They're just buying shit. They kept buying it until they had to get storage units to hold it all. And it's bulging out of there. And people are still going down and buying more shit. Well, those days are over, Jack. That ain't how it is. And I'm telling you right now, the younger people, the younger generations, they ain't like that at all. And they're not consuming. Like the consumption is not going on like it used to. Is it?
Because part of the appeal is going out. We used to talk about, when I had the video store in Las Vegas, my uncle, one of the things we used to talk about was streaming. Like streaming was just coming out. This is the 90s, right? I think I got the video store in 1991. So it went through 2000-ish, 2001, 2. I was gone by 2000, but he was there until a couple years later. But anyway, the point is that when streaming came about, we're like, this is really going to compete with the video industry. And we used to think about it like, not really. Because at that time, because it wasn't high definition or anything yet, right? And even then, DVDs came along and stuff like that. So, but what the idea was, families used to make a outing out of going to the video store and fighting over what movie to get. And you had the standees there, and you had like this whole kind of environment set up that was different than what they have at home, which made it worthwhile to go there. Right? It was like you can't afford to go to Disneyland every day, but you go down to the local video store, and it's kind of set up neat sometimes, and people know what they're doing. And so that idea of going around looking at the back of the box covers and, fighting over the kids fighting over which video to get, for the weekend or whatever that night, that was part of the experience. And that's why just instant delivery, essentially, which will come at some point near instant delivery, isn't always going to work, right? Because you're taking away that part of the, it's almost like looking at a picture of someplace and then going there yourself. I guess that's the best analogy, right? It's not the same. So there's something about going out to someplace and having that whole experience.
We did an orphans party last night, and it was full of F-bombs. But the point is that
what F talking about? No.
The point is that it was casual, so I let the F-bombs fly. Normally there's like at least 9 F-bombs in every sentence. But anyways, the point is not that. The point is that I was talking about, I had watched this piece on nightclubs and how the nightclub was dead. No more nightclubs. So what the F is going on with the nightclubs, right? So they bring these 4 people up on this panel. Okay? One guy owns a nightclub. One guy, he goes to nightclubs, and the other one was like a young woman who, went to clubs, and then of course it was the interviewer. Dude. And so he's asking this guy, and the guy says, well, what about clubs, man? And this guy's like, I'm gonna say he's 50, 55, something like that. So he's been, he used to go to clubs back in the day, back in the 80s or whatever. This guy's saying, yeah, man, well, I go to clubs now, but it's not like it used to be, man. People really don't dance too much. He goes, mostly what I see, and this is why I'm telling you this. He goes, mostly what I see is people, they're sitting there on their phones, and then they'll get up and they'll dance for a minute or two, and they'll take a shot of themselves or some video, and then as soon as the camera's off, they sit back down. So basically the dude's saying, it's basically when people going out to club now is more like a opportunity, a bunch of photo ops for themselves, because like everybody is like a celebrity. They're 15 minutes of fame. You know what I'm saying?
Because the engagement, the social media engagements mean more to them than the
physical
talk at the club.
Yeah, the physical
exactly,
engagement.
or as much. I won't say more. It's as much, right? Like it's part of their persona now. It's taken over part of their personality. And that's Tyson. If Bruce is coming on, when I do get to what I was going to talk about today, something weird that I noticed actually a couple of days ago and validated today. Yeah, it ties into this, Well, so I hope he does show up.
The thing is, he's going to be here. But the thing is that they were saying that the other thing is that the only thing really going on in clubs now is twerking.
It's funny you mentioned that, because I noticed that like the big thing trending in all these videos on social media right now are these girls hopping on the front of police cars and twerking on a police car. What's that? What? First of all, how did that become a thing?
So now it's twerking on police cars is a big fad.
Yes,
what's going on?
Yeah, it's a big. It's like the thing people are posting. Like they're. I mentioned in the chat that TikTok has this whole thing where women think that men are thinking about ancient Rome all the time, to the point that Saturday Night Live did a skit about it last week. I wasn't aware of this because I'm not on TikTok, right? And apparently now the thing is trending, I can't believe it, but I've seen it for myself because I happen to look on X and places like that. Unfortunately, Twitter, X-Twitter. And yeah, it's these twerking people in police cars. Like that's the thing they do now. They hop on there and dare them to take them off, right? To kick them off. What is that? I mean, it's some kind of act of defiance, but it's a stupid act of defiance, right? I mean, what the hell is that? I mean, nobody would even thought of something like that. I mean, it's animalistic in its most base form. Even animals don't do that. You know what I mean? Animals don't do that.
Wonder if they get any tips.
Well, I thought about the gamification aspect, and I thought about that whole idea of a ARG, right? I mean, alternate reality game, where maybe they are being, coaxed and paid and get awarded points for doing something like that. Because I can't think of another explanation. People just don't do that. It's not a natural behavior. they're being guided into doing that because there's some kind of motive.
Well, dudes wearing yoga pants isn't natural either, but people are doing it.
No, it's not. No guy would ever put on yoga pants. You know what I mean?
I'm telling you right now.
There's no reason.
Listen, they're wearing yoga pants and twerking on the hood of police cars.
And police cars. Yeah.
Now, is this twerking that's going on? Is it mostly female?
That's justifiable homicide, man.
Is it mostly female twerking, or is there male? Is there male twerking going on with that? Or is it mostly females on TikTok?
Actually, what I've seen like 3 different ones in the last 2 days since the holiday. When that's happening, and it's all the girls are always on like the front, like on the hood, twerking, and then sometimes they're on the back. But then the guys stand up on top of it and like raise their fist pump and all that kind of stuff on top of the hood.
Well, let me just say here, Into the Microcosm is calling for a TikTok trend of male twerking. Where's the male twerking? I don't see it. There needs to be an equal platform. There needs to be equity, dude. Okay.
So if it's a camel toe for girls, what is it for guys? We need a name for it.
Well, see, the thing is,
ostrich, or what do they call this thing?
Listen, in the future, realistically, the camel toe is going to be a fashion accessory. There's not going to be any way. Right. There's not going to be any way for men to know in the future who they're dealing with, and the only way to really know is to see that camel toe. Otherwise, it could be anything.
There's a slogan there. He's invented a slogan, I think, right there. The only way you know is the camel toe.
All right. Well, I don't know how
Wilford Brimley.
We've gotten
the only way to know.
We've gotten into the weeds somehow.
Yeah. No, but you have to. I mean, you can't let that slide by. That's.
Well, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I mean, there's a lot of. I'm just saying what I see just on TV, just public. I'm not looking for it. It's just there. But there's quite a few of these trans people that will definitely fool some people some of the time.
Saw one today.
If they didn't know. I'm just saying, if you didn't know. And then you get into this weird scene because soon it will be wrong for you to be offended if you find out it's not what you thought it was. See, that's coming. Right. That is coming.
How do you disengage civilly, right? How do you do it? I mean, can you just turn your back? They're going to make that a big deal, right? You turn your back. Don't you turn your back on me?
I'm just saying.
How do you get disengaged from it? It's like,
the political.
Don't want to make a comment.
Listen, the political correctness of that is an issue, and it's like, and it's an issue where you're shamed. Okay, because there's nothing wrong with it. So just go ahead, man. You know what I mean? That's what it's going to be like. I'm telling you right now. Don't mark my words, Epic Journeyman. At some point, if you made the wrong assumption, if you judged a book by its cover, and you're offended when you find out it's not like you thought it was, it will be wrong of you.
So they get a rise, no pun intended, because that'll blow their cover, no pun intended. If just out of the fact that you thought there was something else, right? Like and put you in that moral quandary in that moment of shame on your side, or it's a cognitive dissonance moment, right, where you're stunned for a second. So or maybe a couple seconds, depending how good the fake was. But you know what it's like? It's like, imagine every day seeing a woman in the elevator and, when's the baby due? And realizing they're just fat, and you realize, there is no baby, she says. And like you put that embarrassing moment every day, day after day after day, to the point you just disengage from dealing with people. And what do? You turn to your phone for engagements, right? That's kind of by design, isn't it? Don't you think? Like that seems to be, it seems to be part of the overall plan. If you imagine a bunch of lab-coated evil people sitting around, designing how they're going to F up humanity, this is what they're doing, right? They're making it more and more difficult to just go out and have a normal life. Everything has some kind of, stigma to it.
Nothing is as you thought or think it is or thought it was. Hey, you know what, man? We're going to bring this up, Just as a little tidbit here on In the Microcosm Friday night, Revolution.radio, fully listener supported. Come on down, become a supporter. There's a Patreon button right at the top. If you can't afford Patreon, spread the word. 48 hours a day, Monday through Friday, 7 days a week. Even on the weekends. Studio A, Studio B, 48 hours a day. It's the Independent Broadcast Network. It's freeworld.fm. Epic Journeyman, what do you know about Rockwall, Texas? Because, listen, I'm going to bring this up.
I know quite a bit about it, actually.
Excellent.
I'm not an expert, but I know quite a bit.
Okay, well, that's good, because tonight what we're going to do is we're going to ask the question with our big Tartarians. Our Tartarian brothers are people who are on the orphan train.
Is that like a camel toe?
They're on the orphan train with us, dude.
Oh, okay.
But I'm asking the big question, why hasn't any of them until now? Because I think after we talk about it tonight, I think they will look at it. John Levi, what's up, man? Why haven't you looked at Rockwall, Texas? I don't know. Send in the microcosm.
Cruising to a bar on the shore. A picture graced the ground on the door. She long lost her love at first bite. Baby, maybe you're wrong, but you know it's alright. That's right.
I'm sorry, Epigerman, I couldn't resist. Hey, they canceled their tour, I think, for the time being. Steven Tyler. He's got some nodes on his vocal cords. All right, so I'll check in and see if, hey Trish, what's going on? I'll check in with Bruce and see if he's joining us.
I'm going to go check the perimeter and make sure he's not hanging out front.
No, he's not hanging out front. I think he's deep.
I'm still going to go check the perimeter.
He's in the tunnel on his way over here from the Playboy Mansion. All right. So, yeah, Rockwall, Texas, man. It's an amazing story. Not many people have talked about it over the years, I don't think. I mean, some people have, but it's not like the tropical fauna in the mammoth's stomach after the pole shift. Not everyone knows about that, like that. It's not like these things. Oh, and listen, before we get into Rockwall, Texas, since we got about, 15 or so minutes left, I just want to point out, it was the assassination anniversary recently. So the JFK assassination, and I was talking about it with a friend, and in the moment I realized what the significance of that particular thing was overall, because I think not only was that the moment that the word conspiracy theorist came about, but it was also the moment that the American public stopped believing the narrative. It's the first time that something happened that people had a question about, really. And the questions never stopped. I mean, because realistically, it was a ridiculous story in the first place to say that, he made those shots from the book Suppository.
Well, everything about that story is ridiculous.
That's what I mean.
The fact that they had to divert him to go there. He wasn't supposed to even go on that route. I mean, that's the thing, right? So if it wasn't a planned event, then why did they divert to go there in the first place? You know what I'm saying? And it works the other way too. Like if they didn't know he was going to be diverted, JFK we're talking about in the Cadillac there,
yeah,
or it was Lincoln actually, right? Then how would it be that he'd be set up there in the first place? In other words, it takes more than just him. It can't just be him for that to happen. There's
Look,
too many things, too many wheels, too many cogs in the wheel.
There were some videos back about, I don't know, a few years or so, and this dude was basically saying that the whole thing was fake. Because the whole thing was shot, the whole thing was filmed, the whole thing that the actress playing Jackie pushed a button on a compressed air tank that blew air into a rubber dummy's head and blew his head off. And he took and shook the video up too, because he shows the video of the car coming down the street. And you see the crowd there and everything. And then the car goes past this giant road sign. Let's say it says something on the road sign. I don't know what it says, saying some street coming up. And then as the car comes out of the other side of the road sign,
it doesn't match.
It doesn't match, and the people that are in the shot are all different.
And so, the guy that was on the motorcycle behind him, it skipped the frames. In other words, he ran into the back of the motorcade, right? because the car stopped, obviously. Obviously weren't keeping the same spacing because the car stopped.
Right.
So he stopped to get shot, basically. Yeah, there's so many things about that just don't add up, you know. And you don't have to believe it was the grassy knoll or something, people, but still to set that all up, I mean, to make that all happen the way that it did, there's more than just one person planning that. There has to be. There's too many things. And the cover-up is worse. They always say the cover-up's worse than the actual crime. But in this case, the evidence is in the cover-up, right? Like those particular things, the frame skipped and then the motorcycle being closer to the back of the car than it was. The sign, it's an obvious hand-drawn, where they spliced the film. It didn't work perfectly in that sign.
If I take the tragedy out of it, and ask yourself, if he wasn't shot, what is it exactly that everybody thinks was going to happen exactly? I mean, realistically, what is it exactly? Well, if he hadn't been shot, America would have went a different way or whatever. I mean, come on, man.
Well, his speech, he previewed a speech to the press corps, right? Before that, and the speech was about that's the famous speech about the they call it the Illuminati speech, but it's not. He doesn't call it the Illuminati. He calls it, people working in shadows and that kind of thing.
Yeah,
but he previewed that speach to the press.
Taken out of context, though. You got to listen to
that is the speech.
You got to listen to the whole speech, though.
Right.
What they play in the alternative media, the shit they play in the alternative media is a piece that's cut out of it. Listen,
yeah, it's always out of context.
You want to go listen to one of his speeches? Go to his archives and go look at the speech that he gave to the United Nations about taking away your guns. Okay? Because he was all for that. All for it. Yeah, no one ever talks about that speech, though. Because everybody has this dream that if he hadn't been assassinated, things would just be so much different than they are right now.
It's going to dismantle the CIA, too. Yeah, but the silver certificates were the thing, I think, that played into it, because just like what got Lincoln killed, the greenbacks. I mean, they were trying to get off that banking system. I mean, that's what he was doing with the silver certificates. The same thing. You're getting away from the Federal Reserve and backed up by another currency. In this case, silver certificates, and greenbacks were backed up. And then gold, of course, Nixon took us off the gold standard. So we immediately followed Kennedy, right? So, there's a lot there. I think it has more to do with financial stuff than it does with anything else. I mean, sure, there's people who thought it was a communist plot or a mob plot and all this other stuff. But more than anything else, if you really look at it, I think it had to do with the monetary system.
Who knows what it had to do with?
We don't
it had
know.
to do with a demoralization campaign against the American people to show you, man, listen.
It could be.
There's a guy who looks exactly like him. There was a guy that's playing a role. His name was Kennedy until it wasn't anymore. It's just like that dude. Did you see the video? Now it's gone now. But there was an IMBD of the guy who played Biden at the inauguration. And his wife was also an actress, and they put it on their IMBD. It's not there anymore. Got taken away. But guess what? I showed it on my channel. Yeah.
There's a couple of those characters. The guy from the Pulse nightclub shooting was an actor.
They're all actors. They're all actors.
The guy at Comet Ping Pong that was there that shot up the place. He's not only an actor and had an IMDb page, but he was also the son of a famous producer at the time.
Dude,
and they turned all those cameras away. They literally turned the cameras away before the event.
Since Thanksgiving had just passed, think about the ridiculousness of that. Are you trying to tell me there's some boats came over here and some pilgrims got off, and then that's how America got started in the 1600s?
And it brought those basting things for the turkeys and stuff all ready for them.
If you're in the 16, dude, and you're in the, dude, if you're in the 1600s and you're floating around on your giant boat out in the ocean, and you land on some place called America, how long does it take to send a note back to where you came from to tell them you found America? And then build a shitload of ships, to build a bunch of ships, and just have them coming over here nonstop, dumping pilgrims off until there was so many of them that they built this whole nation. It's bullshit, man. It's in the microcosm. We'll be right back.
Go to his head and his wife's aggravation. You soon end up dead. It's the same.
Hey man, who's sewing together all these giant sails, and how did they figure out how the tensile strength you need to blow across the ocean? It's bullshit.
Radio at freedomslips.com, and we'll be right back after this message.
Hey everyone, it's Barbara Jean Lindsay, the Cosmic Oracle. If you have questions about your past lives or future plans, need answers from the cosmos about your love life or career, or just want to keep your finger on the pulse of the planet, check out my show, The Cosmic Oracle, here on Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com.
Did you ever feel that things were not quite right? That everything was just ever so slightly askew?
Do you have, to paraphrase Morpheus, a splinter in your mind?
If you're interested in hearing the latest information about UFOs, the paranormal,
ancient cultures and structures,
monatomic elements,
longevity,
fantastic discoveries in science,
downloaded to your brain,
then tune into us. Hi, I'm Dave.
And I'm Mackie.
And we are Shiny Side Out, Sundays 2 to 4 a.m. Eastern. See you then.
Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. You don't need to expect us. We're already here.
The Secret Kindergarten is here for the young children of the world. The best program on the radio for kids. Dealing with the most important topics in the whole universe. Fairy tales, music and movement, numbers, plants, animals, fun, colors, insects. Take care and cast your ears out to catch
down, boy, down.
The world of other young things. Reach out. Up, under, and over. Sing a song. Talk about feelings. Just remember the magic word. The magic word is no! Step on into the secret kindergarten. Saturdays, 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Right here on Revolution Radio.
Check in every Thursday night for the Crypt Rick and Jonathan Show. Studio A, 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Right here at the #1 listener-supported radio station, Revolution Radio.
Join me at Revolution Radio, Studio B, at 11 a.m. on Saturday for Free Association, when we take a look at philosophy, spirituality, psychology, social issues, and geopolitics. It's every Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern on Studio B at freedomslips.com.
I want to thank everybody for listening to Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com, the one place where information never sleeps. Revolution Radio.
All right, let's show them what we got here.
All right, thanks for listening while we took that short break here at Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. And now we're going to get back to your host.
That's right, it's Friday night. It's Black Friday night in a black velvet night in the Santa Cruz Mountains. Mine's Jimmy. There's Dave Manichetti. He's got a bad feeling.
Yeah, you know, I mean, that's the thing we're talking in the interval here.
Go ahead.
About how would you know if they faked the past? So the thing about America is that there were people here long before Columbus ever got here.
That's what I'm saying.
They flew the Templar flags. They have all those rune stones in the Ohio Valley. Those are real, right? There's people here. There's Templar towers in Maine, right? They were here before they got here.
So let's ask a question. Listen,
yeah.
Let's just say let's work backwards. Let's just start here. The World's Fair. Where's all the hot dogs and the hot dog buns coming from? All those millions of people. Where'd that shit come from? Who was making it? Where were they coming from?
Trains, but where are those trains going to?
Listen, let me ask you a question. The evolution from going from a canoe, okay, a canoe on a lake or on a river or in a stream. You made somehow, you were naked, and somehow you came up with the idea of floating around on a log. And somehow that turned into a canoe. Just say, how long did that take for it to turn into a canoe? Where they carved it and it had shape and it went through the water like it was supposed to. That took a fucking long time, didn't it? Now, let me ask you this question.
High technology for a long time.
Okay, all right, listen. Let me ask you a question. From that canoe, from the point that it's now a canoe and you've made it so it goes through the water in a certain way and all that, it go from that to a giant ship with huge masts and giant sails made of rope. Where was the rope being made for all these ships? Who was sewing all? Where's the factories with the sewing machines making these sails back in the 1600s? Where are all this? Where is it being made? Where's the rope being made? How did they even come up with rope? How did they come up with, hey man, look at this strand of hemp that I made because I hacked down this hemp plant and there was a fiber. And here, look at this fiber. You know what, Bob? I've got this great idea. How about I take this hemp fiber and I twist it real tight and I make it into a string. And then we take hundreds and hundreds of them, Bob, and weave them together to make this giant ass rope that will hold up against the winds of the ocean. Really, dude? It doesn't really make sense, does it?
Well, the interesting thing is when we colonized America, the original colonials were required to grow hemp specifically to make sails and rope, right? Like if you were a landowner, which you had to be.
Were they sewing it? Was they sewing it by hand?
Well, apparently George Washington's wife was, right? I was thinking about that, so I talk about mimetic engineering and mental images, and like the clues are in the mental images. So what if that's all fake, right? And the clue is that it's like a reference to Betsy being the maker of the sails, and the wooden teeth of Washington being like the wooden ships, right? And all these things, right? Things that the mind makes these connections with, right?
The dude's got wooden teeth. The dude's got wooden teeth, but in the world, they're sailing around looking up at the sky, at the stars, and they're able to tell where they're going. Think about that shit. Think about what somebody sitting there one day and go, hey, Bob, you know what I'm going to do? I don't know how long I'm going to live because my lifespan now in this early time is really only 30 or 40 years. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to sit here for this next 30 years. I'm 10 years old. I just decided I'm going to sit here for the next 30 years. I'm going to stare up at the sky. And I'm going to watch the little lights in the sky. And I'm going to see if they look like shapes. And then I'm going to write them down on this piece of paper. Wait a minute. I don't have paper. Well, I can't write them down because all I got is a feather quill. But somehow I'm going to map all the stars in the sky. And then I'll be able to navigate someday when they invent a boat. They'll be able to navigate by the stars.
Right,
and
my
I tell you
sons
what,
and grandsons and great-grandsons won't get bored following the stars after I'm gone.
No, because your kids would have to keep doing it.
Keep doing it, right. That's what
how
I'm
many
saying.
years would you have to do that? Now,
12,900, yeah.
Okay, let's combine
13,000, basically.
Let's combine that with the science of astrology and ask yourself, how long would it take? And how would you gather the information? Now, just listen, hear me out on this. Okay, first of all, you've got to notice that there's configurations in the sky.
Cycles
and then you have to put that together with when someone was born. And then you have to say that because of these configurations and when this person was born, certain things will happen. Okay, let's just say that's the way it went. How many people would you have to do that with for each sign to gather the information to prove that that's what happened so that you could make a prediction. And then
From
you'd have
people
to
who supposedly didn't write.
and then you'd have to combine and compile all that and keep it somewhere so you could reference it, because there's no way that you could keep that in your mind. And since people are only living 30, 40 years, I mean, this work would have to continue over how many thousands of years would that take, Epic Journeyman? That's why it's all.
Well, that's what makes it so remarkable, right? Like, because you have to have the written word, right? You have to way to pass on this knowledge, right? It can't all be oral tradition. There's too many complex things and thoughts and concepts to just pass on. Okay, boy, now listen. Here's what I'm going to tell you, and then 20 years later, he's ready to go. I mean, I guess, but no, you have to hope he lives 20 years, right? I mean, I don't know, man. But like the thing about it is, what if there was we had no great grandparents? What if we are all orphans? What if the Ark was a ship? Mm-hmm. It fled another planet, right? It took all our DNA and everything else, and they had some AI that brought us here. And the AI in this case is what we call the devil now, right? But it was a thing that it became its world, right, when it brought us here, because once it got here, it educated us. It gave us a tree of knowledge, right? It gave us, brought us up from the eggs and gave us a false history, right? That we have something to cling to. We have roots from that point, because there are no roots, right? But it gave us a story, and the story is better than the reality, because the reality is we're just all stranded. We're all castaways, essentially.
Well,
if you think of it that way, then all of a sudden, then it doesn't matter when civilization started at all, does it? It just happens to be whenever the people decide to start keeping track of it after.
Nah, I mean, it looks like, to me, it looks like what we have here seems like it started right around the 1800s.
Everybody's got an orphan in their family, man. Everybody.
I'm just saying.
At that point.
I'm just saying. The thing is like, if you heard stories about history when you were growing up, and you were given a Cliff Notes story, and you were given certain facts, and those were passed on to you, and that just becomes the known, and so no one ever questions any of it. I mean, think about it, the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria. I'm serious. Who made those cells? And how did they figure out how strong they had to be? I mean, how many mistakes would you have to make sewing sails together before you found out how strong they had to be to go across the ocean? I'm just saying. It's not an easy thing, dude. It's like right now, if someone was going to develop a sail, what would they do? They'd have to figure out how the wind blows and how fast it goes and how it moves and how to figure out just how to stitch it so it wouldn't come apart. I mean, just that very...
Well, people do learn. I mean, we do learn, so there's that. But yeah, the thing about it is, like, there's so many rapid acceleration points, right? Like, it stayed stagnant for a long frickin' time. A long time.
That was the period of time when
years, right? Not thousands of years in some cases. And then all of a sudden, bam, accelerate. Now we're on the straight acceleration path. Why? Because we discovered the thing that brought us here in the first place, in a way. I mean, that's what it is. We're like seeing the thing that makes artificial replication of reality possible. The thing that is that tree of knowledge, that fruit of the tree of knowledge. That very thing is now, when we have access to everything, then the struggle and the strife and the things that make us human aren't as important anymore. You just cheat. You take the cheat sheet. You take the Cliff Notes. You get there faster. And when you don't have the struggle to get you there, then it's not as important to you. You know what I mean? And that idea of I mean, that is like the idea of, I don't want to go too heavy here, but like it's not selling your soul necessarily. What I mean is, it's like you're cheating you're taking a shortcut of what life's arc could be, right? By just accelerating everything without learning the things first. It used to be you had to learn those things as a member of the human race. You had to learn and pass it on to your children and things like that. But now you can just look it up on Google. Right, and you can do things, but you don't know how you really did them. If you took that Google away, you wouldn't know how to do it now. And that is like this whole dismantling. It's a biblical equivalent of a house made on sand. Mm-hmm. Right? There is no sand. There's no I mean, there is sand. There's no rock. There's no foundation in the mental fortitude and ability of the people who cheat that way. And that is the decline. That is the thing that's going to wipe us out. It is, because once you take that away, people don't know how to do anything anymore. They just don't know because they don't really have knowledge. They don't really know what they're doing. They don't really have learned, skills. They don't know how to read the seasons. They don't know how to look at the, find direction. They don't know how to do any of that stuff because their devices do it all for them. And we got cheated, right? The artificial reality cheated us. That's the way it's going to be. That is our undoing.
So when the next phase happens, this will be the baseline. So there'll be a guy that'll be like Tesla was, and he'll be the one that figures out the wireless technology and all the shit. I mean, it's ridiculous. I honestly think that things existed because of whatever happened, and it happens on a secular basis, and populations get wiped out and things get repopulated again for whatever reason or however they are. If they're, like you say, for some reason, it's just we're getting a call. It's Bruce McDonald. So anyways, the point is that we end up here now, and those world fairs were the people in charge's minions that were being told that they were now the inventors of whatever it is to introduce it into the history books. But other than that, can't you go back to the some of the Indian lore? I mean, there was flying ships and all this other stuff. I mean, could the Ark not have...
Ramona, yeah.
Is that Bruce?
Hey, Bruce.
Yeah, man. Sorry, I had to have a nap, guys.
That's all right. It was a bunch of background noise.
Man.
Bunch of background noise going on there. That's how I knew you were there. There he is.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, it's all right. Bruce McDonald's here.
It's not bad. It's not bad. Don't worry.
So listen, though, realistically, isn't it just as realistic as they just made up a story and told you that certain people did certain stuff, and then now all of a sudden you're supposed to respect those kings and queens and bloodlines that go way back?
Well, it works against that, doesn't it? Because if you think about it, like the thing about the whole point of the world fairs is they assembled this whole civilization, this mimic of civilization, sometimes better than the civilization we have. Oftentimes, that's the whole point, right? In a matter of, a few short years or months in some cases. They assembled the whole thing. I mean, the Eiffel Tower is still there. A lot of these things are still there from these world fairs. They're supposed to be just there for a couple months.
It's bullshit.
Right? They put it all together, and it's still there, and it's better than the things we had at the time. What does that tell you? That tells you we know how to do things. We do have that knowledge. We know how to do these things. We've always had, we always had the knowledge, but I mean, we've had access to this knowledge for a long time.
You could build the Eiffel Tower right now. Could you?
I couldn't, but
no,
the point is the people who built the Eiffel Tower did.
I'm saying it could be built right now.
Oh, yeah.
But could it have been built when they say it was built? I mean, do you know, is there anybody alive that built it? Is there any, look, exactly how did they build it precisely? I mean, did they have cranes? How did they build it? I mean, did they just have a bunch of dudes lifting up I-beams, up the ladders?
Well, the thing that makes the Eiffel Tower interesting is the metal structure part of it, right? Like they had to pour all that stuff in foundries at the time, right? In the exact right, position and everything, and then use cranes and stuff to assemble it, and then put it up. It's pretty amazing for the time.
What's amazing what it tells you is they had horses.
Technology the whole time.
All they had was horses, though, didn't they? I mean, how are they hauling around these?
Apparently,
how are they hauling around these cranes? I mean, where was the steel coming from?
So what if the secret of Freemasonry, let's say, for example, because Eiffel was a Freemason, is AI? They had AI the whole time. They've had it the whole time. What if that's the secret?
Come on.
Right? I'm just throwing that out there, Bruce. I'm not saying it's true. I'm just saying it's a talking point.
Bruce.
Even if the AI existed, like let's say it existed in the fourth dimension on the astral, you would still need a suitable conduit to communicate with it from 3D.
Bruce.
Okay.
Bruce.
Yeah.
How are they making sales on a giant basis where they're just providing these sails that would work against the power of the ocean? Who's making all these sails? Where do they come from? Was there sewing machine factories somewhere that I don't know about where they're just sewing up these giant sails back in the 1600s? The 1600s?
Yeah.
Who's making
I I'll give you my best guess. This is cold with no research, but I would say that the trade guilds. So they probably had, in the Merchant Marine Trade Guild, they probably had sailmakers, yeah.
How many sailmakers would it take?
Goes back,
how many quote-unquote sailmakers would it take just to make one sail? And how long would it take? And how did they know how strong to make it? Where it wouldn't just rip apart without AI, without some way of being able to calculate the thread quality or whatever. So what I'm saying is, I think human civilization here a long time ago, and the reason we've been starting to talk about this because we're going to talk about a place in Texas, Rockwall, Texas. Lots of people know about it. Some people do, some people don't. I sent you a video. If you watched it, cool. If you didn't, that's okay. Yeah, it's so the thing about Rockwall, Texas, and what makes it so interesting is that it was a controversy, and people say was it man-made or was it natural? And so the argument went back and forth, this and that. The History Channel did a special on it, and
a couple actually.
Yeah, and in the end, it was this person that came in, a geologist, and he looked at the magnetic principles of the stones and noticed that all the magnetic were pointing in the right direction, the same direction. And so he said, because they're all going, this magnetic flow is all going in the same direction in these rocks, it has to be natural. And immediately when he said that, you know what I thought to myself? I said, bullshit. That, you know what that tells me? That tells me you're trying to divert my attention, because the technology available and the knowledge available to that civilization, when they built that wall, they knew they had to build it and put the stones in the right direction for the magnetics to be going that way, because they were using a whole different style of technology back then. So this wall predates what they call human civilization by 100,000 years, ladies and gentlemen. So Epic Journeyman seems to know a little bit about it. Here, let's take a listen to this real quick. It's in the microcosm. Bruce McDonald's here, Epic Journeyman's here, and you're here. Let's take a listen to this.
Over 100 years ago, a curious discovery was made in a town now named after this Upart, Rockwall, within Texas. An ancient wall was unearthed, and although it was clearly of an artificial nature, its possible age predictably made a number of people in the academic world deny its artificial origins in favor of a far less likely scenario involving natural formation. Although magnetic exploration suggested that the rock wall had been where it lay for over 100,000 years, its origins have been heavily debated ever since its initial discovery. In 1852, farmers in Texas were digging a well when they discovered the wall. Conservative estimates have placed its creation some 100,000 years ago. Yet now, many believe it to actually be an antediluvian relic left by a now lost civilization some 200 to 400,000 years ago. Dr. John Geisman of the University of Texas, Dallas, tested the rocks as part of a History Channel documentary, giving credence to the denial of its artificial origins, suggesting they formed where they were, claiming that they were all magnetized in the same way. This tremendous age has led many to believe in modern paradigm, to deny a man-made origin, as this does to corroborate with the Bering Strait theory and currently upheld timelines in regards to evolution. However, there are others in similar fields who have found curious characteristics of the wall which do indeed suggest artificial origins. Geologist James Shelton, for example, and Harvard's architect John Lindsay have focused on its unique design features, including architectural elements, archways, lintelled portals, and square doorway and window openings, which all suggest not only artificial creation, but functionality for humans, which nature would simply not create. The depth or past height of the wall is also an impressive legacy. The family of T.U. Wade, who moved to the area and initially made the discovery, dug to a depth of 40 feet to try and find the bottom of the wall. This excavation, however, was abandoned without finding the bottom. Years later, in 1949, Mr. Sanders of Fort Worth took up the baton and continued excavational exploration of the wall, finding a number of megalithic stones at considerable depth and weighing several tons. After bringing them to the surface, mysterious pictographs were found upon them, further supporting the thesis of artificial origin. In addition, curious metal rings of modern composition were found embedded in rocks, suggesting the presence of lost technology. It would appear that the wall is indeed an antediluvian relic, one possibly submerged and subsequently buried in ancient sediment during the Great Flood. Modern studies have found that the wall is in fact 6 stories tall and 20 miles in length, with a number of individuals now attributing the wall to a lost civilization of giants due to its inexplicable nature. Quote, "It is good when examples like Rockwall appear that test our abilities and cause us to question basic Newtonian mechanistic assumptions that have not been modified for over 150 years. Physics had to abandon this approach at the turn of the century, opting instead for relativity and quantum mechanics in order to further their understanding of matter and the universe," said James Shelton, geologist from New Orleans. "It is a relic which we find highly compelling."
All right. So they're very compelling. Compelling in many ways, and I mean, there you go. So 60 feet or 60 feet is a 6-story building. So a story in a building is 10 feet. So that's a 6-story building wall with a giant skull that was dug up. So it says it really puts a wrench in the whole evolution idea. Well, here, let me put a wrench in the evolution idea. First of all, put all the parts for a Rolex watch in a brown paper bag, shake it up, okay, and then pull out a Rolex, because that's the odds of human evolution. All right? It's impossible. We did not evolve out of the mud or whatever. And what's really funny about it is, and you know, because we're talking about this, it reminds me of this. Are you familiar with the Piltdown Man, Bruce?
No, yeah. Perhaps if you give me a better description, yeah.
I will.
You are.
I will. And we will.
We will. Put a gorilla jaw on a.
Okay, listen. Don't worry about. Don't explain the
pig jaw.
Don't explain the Piltdown Man yet, because I'm gonna bring some material to the table. But Epic Journeyman, you know about the Rockwall, so tell us a little bit about the Rockwall. What you know about it. Because I'm wondering why the Tartarian community and the orphan train community has not jumped all over the Rockwall.
It was pretty big in 2008 or so, you know. What I think is interesting about it, there's a lot of interesting things about it, but it was really, it'd been found numerous times, but in the 40s, you know, basically the farmers were out there digging around, and that owned land out there. There's a lot of land, you know, people would take their excavator out and start messing around. They found it and started digging around it, and then that's how they. I mean, that's really where they started finding the magnitude of it, how deep it was, how many stories high it was. And the thing about it is, like, it was very reminiscent of the temple structure off the coast of Japan. It's underwater, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like that, or the Bimini Wall in the Bahamas, like where they have these right angle bricks, essentially, in both places, particularly that off the shore one in Japan, they have right angles. And nature doesn't create right angles like that, generally speaking. That's what makes it odd, right? So, like in the case of this, it has rings with Cusco a little bit, where we have, you know, blocks that aren't perfectly square sometimes, followed by ones that appear to be rebuilt where they are perfectly square or rectangular. So if you look at it, like there's ones that all fit together, like they do in Cusco, which are obviously man-made structures, and they theorized, you know, obviously because they've been around for a long time, and they have more to it. They put roofs and everything's on them. But the thing is that those structures, they theorized that they built it that way because it could survive earthquakes. So, and that's why it had that unique structure. They weren't all square. And just like that, the Inca culture came along, so as other cultures after the original builders of those walls. I'm talking about Cusco here, and they rebuilt them with more square, rectangular, blocks to replace the parts that fell down. If you look at that video, if people got to see it, I know our listeners can't see it, but you'll see spots where it seems to be a patch, where you have all these interlocking blocks that go together, right? And all of a sudden, there's a bunch of rectangular ones in its place. It shows that there are people maintaining it.
Yeah, it shows that what we've been told is a bunch of nonsense. You know what I mean? It's nonsense. Now, and the thing is most people have never, are like Bruce. They've never even heard of the Piltdown Man. Never heard of it. Never heard of it. But it was out there, and it was a story. It came out in the news. It was out there. People, they found out about it. It was a big scandal at the time. And Epic Journeyman, what is the relationship between Freud and Darwin? There's a
nephew. Yeah, exactly. No, it's nephew. Yeah,
come on
absolutely.
now. Who's nephew?
Well. Let me go back one. So one thing I'm confusing there is the propaganda guy. The
Bernays.
What's his face is actually Freud's. Bernays is Freud's nephew. But when you go up on the scale, there is a family relationship there.
There is
to Darwin. Yeah,
all right. Well, let's go to Darwin. Darwin's the theory of evolution. Here's the Piltdown Man.
Have you ever wondered how a single hoax could shake the foundations of anthropology and change the way we look at human evolution? Well, buckle up, because today we're diving into the fascinating tale of the Piltdown Man, a scandal that rocked the scientific world and taught us a valuable lesson about skepticism and the perils of scientific bias. The story starts on a seemingly ordinary day in 1910 in the village of Piltdown, England. Here, amateur archaeologist Charles Dawson claimed to have come across a peculiar skull fragment in a gravel pit. Dawson, intrigued by his discovery, reached out to Arthur Smith Woodward, the keeper of geology at the British Museum, and together they began to excavate the site. Over the next few years, they unearthed a collection of fragments that they pieced together to form a skull. This skull, they claimed, belonged to the missing link between apes and humans, a creature they dubbed the Piltdown Man. The scientific community was initially skeptical, but the British establishment, eager to have a significant discovery in human evolution to call their own, embraced Piltdown Man with open arms. The Piltdown Man was described as a creature with a human-like cranium and an ape-like jaw, a combination that seemed to perfectly bridge the gap between humans and our primate relatives. The discovery was hailed as a triumph, a crucial piece of the puzzle in our understanding of human evolution. But as the years passed, doubts began to creep in. In the decades following the discovery, new fossils were found around the world that contradicted the Piltdown Man's unique blend of features. Scientists began to question the authenticity of the Piltdown Man, and in the early 1950s, new dating technology confirmed their suspicions. The Piltdown Man was a fraud. The skull fragments were revealed to be a mere few hundred years old, not the 500,000 years they were purported to be. The jawbone was identified as that of an orangutan, deliberately altered to appear more human-like. The scientific community was left reeling, the trust in their own practices and in the British establishment shattered. So why does this...
I think I'm sophisticated cause I'm living my life like a good homo sapien. But all around me everybody's multiplying and they're walking around like flies, man. So I'm no better than the animals sitting in their cages in the zoo, man. Cause compared to the flowers and the birds and the trees, I am an ape man. I think I'm so educated and I'm so civilized cause I'm a strict vegetarian. But with the overpopulation and inflation and starvation and the crazy politicians, I don't feel safe in this world no more. I don't wanna die in a nuclear war. I wanna sail away to a distant shore and make like an ape man.
So at the point that you come to this realization that you've been lied to, then at that point you're just adrift in a sea of
Okay, so
go ahead.
I just want to go back to Freud and Darwin. What's the connection there? Who's nephew?
Freud's nephew is Bernays, but there's a relationship between Darwin, Freud, and Bernays. There's a relationship there. I don't remember precisely what it is.
I'll look it up. I've seen it before too. Yeah, no, there is.
Yeah, there's definitely. I think they were Fabian socialist number one. I would say that would be a given, and that may be what the relationship is between them. I don't know, but Epic Journeyman can take a look at that. He is the chain follower. He knows where.
Don't get me started. Yeah.
I know. But listen, so basically, Bruce, hey, we came from apes, dude. You know what I mean? We came from apes. We were just apes in the jungle, and we were just living off, coconuts. And then somehow we got tired of the coconuts, and we got tired of the abundance and the life we were living, and we looked longingly across the sea, and we decided to build ourselves boats and sail away to find a new land, because we were tired of all this food we were eating. We were tired of, our tribe. We were tired of all this, and we looked across, and we longingly saw the sun setting somewhere in the distance, and we thought to ourselves, I gotta get the F out of here, Bruce. I'm gonna build me a giant ass boat, put some sails on it, and I'm gonna sail across the sea until I find the land they said was America. And then I'm going to meet some Native Americans, and they're going to cook me a turkey, give me some corn, and they're going to welcome me. And then I'm going to send all the rest of my boats over there filled with white people, and we're going to just invade and build skyscrapers in New York City. And without cranes. Go ahead.
You know how they have all those sort of like quippy sayings, like when you walk into a bar, the bartender might say, "Choose your poison."
Yeah.
Things like this, pick your poison.
Right.
Well, when it comes to life, right? Like you got to choose your mystery, and that's going to be your passion in life. Okay. Right. And I have to say, the material stuff has never really interested me that much, which is why I come up and so ignorant in these arguments. Like, causal chains about physical events have never interested me. For me, it's all consciousness all the time. First of all, what are you? You're. But when I hear you guys talk about this stuff, I cannot believe how we've been lied to, man. It's just like this is some kind of galactic zoo.
That's what I
where
know.
Other beings come and look at us from space with electromagnetic telescopes that work fourth dimensionally. They're not physical. And look at there's one playing with himself in his bedroom in the middle of the afternoon.
It's all.
What are they doing now? Oh, they've invented video games. Look at that.
Dude, it's like it's literally unbelievable. It's like we've been told a story the whole time, and like I was saying earlier, that JFK was the moment when the public didn't believe the story. That was the moment when all of a sudden they went, "No, this story doesn't sound right. Something doesn't sound right about this," And it was that moment when there's a question about the narrative. But see, now it's to the point now where if you ask those kind of questions now, it doesn't matter, because your question is buried in a morass of disinformation on the internet. So,
man,
they're saying
they're not going to have to do this much more if they get those chips into us and all this shit, man. They're not going to have to do the mudslide or Tartaria anymore. They'll be able to just erase memories like working on a hard drive in your head.
Right, defragment, yeah, reboot. Well, So what it is, I'm looking what we're getting that reference from. Jimmy probably is too. It's not that they're physically related. It's that they play off each other, and that Darwin influenced Freud heavily to the point they call this whole thing called for Darwin, like for Darwinism.
Yeah,
for Darwinism. And that's what it is.
See if see if he was a Fabian socialist. Both of them are Fabians, or all three of them are Fabians.
Oh, there's a whole thing about his father and secret societies and all that stuff. So but that's something we could research for another day.
The thing is, you have this. There's a really detrimental aspect to the kind of shit we're talking about tonight, which is that if you determine that you've been lied to, okay, and then you repeatedly find that in almost every area of whatever it is, I don't care what it is, go back and look at it and ask yourself, do you believe that shit? It's it's crazy. Dude, listen, I brought this up earlier. How long would it take for you to document every single astrological sign and everything in the energies that could happen in a single day and calculate that by the documentation that you've kept? That's ridiculous.
I'll have it on your desk in 40 minutes.
Well, yeah, but it's at least 13,200 years or whatever, right? I mean, it's 26,000 years, galactic cycle, all this stuff, right? All these divisions of 72. But the thing is,
what was the name of that black? What was the name of that?
You can't possibly got that together in the time of humanity's been alive and started writing, supposedly.
What was the name?
There's no way.
What was the name of the black scientist who said he discovered code in the fabric of the universe?
Oh, yeah. I can never remember that guy's name. He was at the AI conference back in 2013. He was like the star of that show, actually.
So it all starts
talking about
that. Is that famous dude who does the talk shows?
No, it's another guy. He's like, I think he's blind, actually, isn't he?
Yeah,
Jimmy?
I think he is. Yeah, I think he's blind. He's
like legally blind.
He's the Stevie Wonder of astrophysics, and he found code in the fabric of the universe. And I'm just saying, I can't remember his name. I'm trying to give him credit for it. I can't remember his name. But listen.
No, he went off on it. He expounded on it quite a bit, actually, that it wasn't just like a hypothetical. Like, he literally found that there were repeating segments of code, like computer code in DNA.
So if that's the case, this idea of being lied to and this being a simulation starts to come more and more into view, because the thing is like I say, the dangerous part about finding out about being lied to is that you end up in this abyss of not knowing at all anymore what's true. And that's the very fabric that society is built on these truisms, the things that we all take for granted. 1 + 1 = 2. 1 + 1 = 2 here, and 1 + 1 = 2 on the other side of the universe. We take that as a basis for everything, right?
But 1 + 1 = 3 if you happen to have a wormhole in the way, right? Because you're taking two coordinates and going to the third one, and then that's the thing. Like that is why we're never going to get it together if we keep thinking the way we think in linear thinking, because there's fact and there's fallacy, and there's things we can prove. At the same time, there's things, once you get into the quantum realm, it's so messed up.
Doesn't it make more sense, Epic Journeyman and Bruce McDonald? Doesn't it make more sense that a humanity could exist but have its memory completely wiped away? The people are still here. They didn't die. Whatever happened. They didn't die. But what happened was that instead of positive being negative and negative being positive the way we know it now, it's reversed. And for whatever reason, that configuration made everything go wonky. The ley lines didn't work. All of a sudden, their minds went blank. They didn't know 1 + 1 = 2 anymore. But there were certain people that did still, because for whatever reason they were protected. Go ahead.
Yeah, my faith prevents me from going that dark, Jimmy. And it's just simply the belief that there is a governing authority here. You can call it an energy. You don't have to anthropomorphize it. You don't have to throw arms and legs on it or anything like that. Give it a name like Yahweh or Jehovah or Hashem or Shiva or anything like that. But I do know, I've seen enough to know that the governing power on this planet is afraid of something, or they're cautious around it.
Well, there has to be a
It's
creator.
not us. It's certainly not us.
If this is a if this is a simulation, okay, that's still in line with there being a creator. This has to be created. This is not just
derivative.
Right. So
it's a derivatives market. It's not a primary market. It's a derivatives market.
Tommy.
This planet.
No more shines, Billy. What? I said no more shines. Maybe you didn't hear about it. You've been away a long time. They didn't go up there and tell you. I don't shine shoes anymore.
Relax, will you, for crying out? What's got into you? I'm breaking your balls a little bit, that's all. I'm only kidding with you.
Sometimes you don't sound like you're kidding. You know, there's a lot of people around.
I mean, I'm only kidding with you. We're having a party. I mean, I just came home. I haven't seen you in a long time, and I'm breaking your balls, and you're right away you get fresh. I'm sorry. I don't mean to offend you.
I'm sorry, too. It's okay. No problem.
Okay, salute. I'll go home and get shine box. Oh, Tommy.
No more
Hey, Tommy. Maybe they didn't go up there and tell you. So, Bruce, you found a great movie. I guess it came out after Goodfellas. Shinebox with Jay Leno and
No, it's just a joke, I think. But I found the meme online, and it actually just coincidentally popped up in my Facebook feed, and I thought, yeah, that's timely. I'll share that with Jimmy.
Funny. Yeah, that is funnier than hell. Yeah, so I mean, go get your shine box. This history thing is now when you're out in the free range. Now it's up to you to come up with an idea of what the hell is going on around you. You know what I mean? So that's where you get in trouble, because now you have these seductive characters that come up with these thematic ideas that are no different than the narratives that you had before. It's just a different narrative now. And if you can gain popular traction with your narrative, then that becomes the reality that people are living by. Because up until this point, we're living by a reality that we have no... Oh, yeah, we're pulling resources from the third dimension.
Or the fifth or the sixth. Or
whatever, man. It's not a 1 or a 0. It's something else. Okay, yeah, whatever you say, dude. Whatever you say. Yeah, there's planets trillions of light years away. Okay, yeah, whatever you say. Whatever you say. Oh, you looked at the dirt and you could see the magnetics are going this way and that way, and there's a pole reversal. Okay, whatever you say, dude. You know what I mean? Realistically, come on, man. I mean, we're just
There's something about that wall. There's something about that wall that we need to bring up, right?
Right.
Here's the problem with that wall. Like, I brought up the thing about how they have like the stones that are obviously in place that don't fit together, like Cusco, right? Megalithic stones, big stones, right? But they still have like the they call it core like when you're building a wall, a brick wall, a course, right? Course. There's these linear courses of the building of the wall. But then they have these spots that have been patched up by somebody else in the past. So that's a problem, because why would they patch it up in the past, right? They had a reason to patch it up. I mean, that's obviously not the same as this magnetic anomaly thing that created it. The other problem is that it's only so wide, right? So like if it was a wall that was like 60 feet wide and it went around everywhere and it would dug down off, that's one thing. But one of the guys who found it originally and had his excavator stuff, he talked to the guy on Netflix who's doing a follow-up show to the History Channel one, and he just goes out to his backyard and starts digging down and finds it because he knows where it's going to be, because his dad dug it up, he dug it up, everybody knows where it is. Listen. And the thing is, well, how do they know where it is and which way it goes? Because it's going the same way the whole time. I mean, that's the thing. If it was magnetic, that's one thing. But why would it only be so wide? And why would somebody rebuild it?
For the same reason that I'd stick you in an 8-foot box and not let you and make you think you came from monkeys. Okay? So because you can never be what the elite are, because there's something more than you. You're just monkeys. That's why. No, the human potential has been squashed by the narrative that's been perpetrated over the years, and I don't care how far back you go. Whatever the method was for propagating bullshit, it's been out there for a long time. Shakespeare wasn't a guy. Shakespeare was a corporation with a bunch of people writing for Shakespeare's name. All right? Columbus wasn't a guy.
I've heard that, yeah.
Yeah, Columbus wasn't a guy. It was a corporation. This is
that's somewhere. Yeah, absolutely.
Man, this has been going on forever and ever and ever. And we've been telling stories to us since we've been sitting at campfires. And the dude knew there was going to be an eclipse or whatever. I shall make the moon go dark if you don't do what I say. You know, I mean, come on, man. Listen, here's the problem, though. I could keep saying this is the biggest problem, is because once you realize you've been lied to, now you got to ask yourself, where's the truth? And that's the search that, you know, I think everybody's on.
So, Jimmy.
Yeah.
I got the most important question of the night. So, when trees breathe in the smoke that is the result of a forest fire, is that cannibalism?
No. Only because there's no meat. There's no meat involved. There's no man corn. But I would say
they're eating their own kind, Jimmy.
People had the timer going. Somebody won their bet, you know, Jimmy. They have the man cord timer going. People are betting on how long into the show it's going to be.
Wow.
Right. It's an interesting ethical question.
Yeah, no, it's true though. But you know, the thing is, the thing about I have like I won't say it's divine experience, but a spiritual experience about that with trees and how trees. As somebody laying down in the valley, looking up at the trees, and like, I don't know, had some weird thing happen. And it was just this thing where you understand what trees are. They're plugged into the earth, right?
Oh man!
And like their generations are around them. And I had this whole sense of what that was like how the ancient trees looked at the newer trees and could see and feel the rhythm of the world. And yeah, I mean, it's unique, man. People might call it crazy, but it was something that was, man, it's never going to leave me. I mean, I think that once you're in tune with nature, there is a tune to nature. There is, you know, and once you're into it, you know it. And that's why I wanted you to be here, Bruce, because I had something I wanted to share with you when you got here, and I'd been waiting
He's
for you to
been
get here
waiting
the whole time.
and waiting, but listen, wait some more because we're coming up at the top of the hour. We're coming up at the top of the hour. We're coming up at the top of the hour, and there's no top of the hour break. This is a music break that we're going to take, and we're about to take it right now because I need to get some water from my coffee machine. So, ladies and gentlemen, stick around for Epic's question and material to bring forth in front of the Bruce McDonald. It's Into the Microcosm Friday night. freeworld.fm, revolution.radio, the independent broadcast network. into the microcosm. Every Friday night, you'll find us right here at Revolution.radio, freedom of speech. 48 hours a day, 7 days a week, Studio A, Studio B, freeworld.fm, the Independent Broadcast Network.
I'm your only true friend now. They'll betray. I'm forever there. I'm your dream, make you real. I'm your eyes when you must steal. I'm your pain when you can't feel. Sad but true. I'm your dream, mind astray. I'm your eyes while you're away. I'm your pain while you repay. You know it's sad but true.
Epic Journeyman. Are you ready to ask the question?
I'm ready to ask the question. At the Oracle of Delphi.
Black Friday. Bruce McDonald, Epic Journeyman.
Social mutation, solving everything at the end of a gun.
Just like Muhammad, Bruce McDonald went to the mountain. He's been in deep meditation in his meditation cave today. He's risen again. And now he's here. And Epic Journeyman has got a burning question. Epic Journeyman, are you there?
I am here.
All right, then.
I got the burning question. It's going to be anticlimactic, probably, but there's nobody better to ask than Bruce, man. I'm telling you. Okay. So Bruce, man, I really respect the fact you spend a lot of time in meditation. Like you spend hours a day, correct?
More and more. Yeah.
Just
finished the best book of my life, by the way, The Devil and Us, a memoir of you and me.
Nice. I'll let you elaborate some when we resolve this particular question. It's not a big question, really, but it's interesting because I just had experience, and you know how when you have experience, you want to talk to somebody who's had maybe a similar experience, and that's kind of where I'm at. So I had something weird happen to me, and so like I'm gonna tell you, like my sister's a diehard Christian, and she took up yoga. And she's really good at yoga, and she's never had a bad experience. My girlfriend was big into yoga. She's like a Unitarian church, not the Moonies, the other one, but girl back in the day. Well, we're not together anymore, but never had a bad problem, anything like that. So you hear these stories about people hitting certain poses or doing certain motions and channeling an entity. Have you ever had that happen to you?
Well, no, and that is about like the best question you could possibly ask. Is that the question? Is that the sum total of it?
Well, no, I'm going to give some backstory. So we're all familiar with Mick Jagger, right?
Yeah.
And Mick Jagger does those weird dances on stage, right? It is a chicken walk thing. It is kind of goofy, and he's super lean. He does that kind of serpentine thing with his torso and stuff. Yeah. And so there's this game in VR. called Beat Saber. Everybody who's played anything at all on VR probably knows this game. And you can have it on your Quest, even the old one. You can have it now, and it's really good. It has all these songs, and it has all these things that prompt you to move and strike. What it is, there's these cubes that come at you, and it's a rhythm. As the music's playing, and you try to strike it down the center of the cube and eliminate these cubes with these like lightsabers as they come at you. And so normally it's like I play drums a little bit. I mean, I'm not a great drummer, but I play drums, right? So basically, if you can play drums, you can anticipate the rhythm, and you slice to the rhythm, and you're going to do pretty good at it, because especially if you play drums, man, it's just natural. You hit the bass and the kick, right, the downbeat and the other peripheral things in your drum kit, and it's going to work pretty good. And that's how you time it, right? So you can do pretty good. Well, they launched this thing in Beat Saber for the Rolling Stones, and I got it, of course. I'm like, oh, let me see how this goes. And it's different than every other. They call them packs. You download these packs in another pack in VR, and it's these Rolling Stone songs, and it has all the popular hits. And I decided to Give Me Shelter, which I love that song. Actually, I think that song's one of the best songs ever made. It's real good. It's unique.
Yeah, it is.
And so as I'm playing it, and I never had bad vibes from the song, ever. As I'm playing the game to the song, it does something different that none of the other versions of Beat Saber, as these blocks and these cubes come flying at you to hit them with your lightsabers, does. It prompts you to hold and like follow through, like with these vapor trails, if you will, that guide you to the next thing, these poses. So you have to hold these poses and then hit into them. And then when you hit these other blocks, they're like stacked and have to like go through precisely for like 5 blocks at a time. I mean, weird things you don't do in any other version. And the thing is, as I was playing it, I found myself doing these serpentine motions with the core of my body in the that I never normally do, and I found myself striking these poses because it's prompting you to do these poses. And dude, I tell you what, man, I felt for a minute like Mick Jagger, I'm not saying like being possessed or something, almost like that, but not quite, but just like this. I felt like I was opening up something, like I was channeling, like literally channeling something through striking these poses. Literally, the pose I was making was like a spell, like an incantation. Have you ever heard anything like this before?
Yeah, I'm actually kind of an expert on this topic.
That's why I wanted to
Yeah, okay, so, far be it from me to say anything controversial like I have about the Abrahamic religions and stuff. So I have been a pure seeker of God. And the one God, the nameless God. That's been my pursuit my whole life. And I've never deviated. And believe me when I tell you, I've had many temptations and many offers of psychic power internally, okay? And I was instructed very well in the beginning of my journey. And reading, and I'd seen so many people who started with you want to know what the Illuminati is? It's basically people who started with the best of intentions, got halfway in their journey to God, and then took a left or a right turn. Once you start, you can't stop. It's like escaping a gulag in Siberia and crossing the winter plain. You can't stop, okay? You got to keep going, and you got to keep going till you hit God. Or, and I'm not saying I've done that, but you got to be very, very pure in your intention, okay? So here it is in a nutshell. Sadhguru is going to hate my guts, but so be it. Yoga is a psychic art. It's not a spiritual art, okay? Could it provide things to the human race, new forms of medicine, mental healing, schizophrenia? Absolutely. But it has to be clearly understood that this is not something that's going to take you to what a Christian is looking for. So the God that Jesus is describing in the Gospels, that's the God I'm seeking, okay? That's the God I'm serving. It's the same God, okay? Now, you listen to the yogis quite clearly, okay? They tell you. It's the same thing when I was going through all the Martinist material on McDonald in the Morning. They reference the Kabbalah quite a bit. All of the European secret societies come off of the Kabbalah, or the Book of Enoch, but basically Hebrew material, okay? They tell you right in the beginning of the Kabbalah, God is unknowable, unfathomable, okay? And God has no name, and they tell you right in the beginning, and that's like 0.0001% of the Kabbalah, and the other 99.99999% is to teach you how to interact with all these entities below the one God. And they all do this trick. All of these paths do these tricks. You know, if you listen, if you go and you watch Sadhguru, he'll never say the word God. Okay? He'll never say it. Now, the Buddhists, they're going to about what I would call the mental plane. So physical, astral, causal, mental. It's a very high state of consciousness.
Listen.
Not very many people. But when your intent is to know God, God will start interacting with you very, very early on.
Listen.
Okay?
Listen. Bruce. I'm going to ask a question. No, first of all, Sadhguru, whatever he says, I don't know. I don't care. But what I am interested in, though, is that when you're seeking the God that you're speaking of, and you put yourself into a state where you're open to that. So now you've opened yourself. So there's a very fine line, and there has to be intention and direction in that. And so you can find yourself in a situation where you may think that what you're hearing is what you're seeking, but in actuality, you've adjusted your vector just a little bit, and you're off course. You have no way of knowing. And so when these yogic poses, this is why I'm saying all this, yogic poses, they put you in a certain state, in a certain position, in a certain you've taken in oxygen, your blood is flowing, and all your juices are flowing in a certain place. Now, if you're not prepared or you're not a trained individual, is it possible, like Epic Journeyman's saying, that in that moment
100%.
Go ahead.
Not only possible, if you keep yoga up for a decade or longer, you're undoubtedly going to have entity interactions. Undoubtedly, you're going to have entity interactions. I've had entity interactions in my life, but not as a result of spiritual practice. Generally, other people will direct them at me, okay? There's actually an incredible story. I finally wrote it down in this book I just finished about leaving the Sufi Durga after a year of praying with them because me and my son said, no, we're not converting to Islam. Mm-hmm. You told us we could pray here with you without converting. Now, after a year, you're asking us to convert. And we left. And I went through the worst, 6 weeks of spiritual battle of my life. Now, there's opinions vary. Some people say the sheikh didn't actually put jinn on me or demons or whatever, that there's just entities around the Durga, and once I left the protective circle of the prayer circle, those entities attacked me. This was physical. I was literally poked and prodded at night. I had direct voice to skull, and I knew I wasn't going schizophrenic or anything. I knew exactly what was going on, and I just go to the same remedy all the time. You need to fast, okay? This book I finished dealing with some very heavy energies Bob put me in contact with. Okay, in the first month of the book, I felt the energy. I went, oh man, this is intense. 2-week fast. Did not swallow a bite of food for 2 weeks to clean myself and to let God know, look, I'm sincere about doing this. The human race needs this information, but I don't want to get the shit kicked out of me by these entities. And so that's what I had to do. You have to be very disciplined. And but yeah, most people practice yoga, then you're not going to get possessed, because look, this is putting the Christian template on all other theology. Okay, so first of all, what are the yogis worshiping? They're worshiping Shiva. Shiva actually was physically on the planet. Shiva was a giant. Shiva was he couldn't mate with a human woman. He was about 12 or 14 feet tall. He had blue skin. The descriptions are, and when you talk to these people, and they're saying, oh yeah, he was really here. Like in the same way that Jesus was here, Shiva was here. Mm-hmm. Okay? That's not God. That's an individuated being with arms and legs. Mm-hmm. Remember, God, you cannot anthropomorphize God. Okay? You can't.
Let me ask you this question, man. Let me ask you this question.
Yeah. Sure.
Why am I sitting on Earth living as a human being right now where I can eat a turkey leg, I could drink whatever. I could eat some cheesecake. But in order for me to be highly involved, in order for me to get to where I'm going, I got to become a particle in the universe. Well, I mean, why do people think it's so important to be a human being? You know what, man? You're on this planet right now, and you're a human being. You better enjoy every second of it, because all this shit that doesn't materialize, like these ghosts, they wish they could be human. Demons they want to be human. Demons want to be human so bad. Why do demons? If demons can do anything,
you nailed it, Jimmy. You nailed it,
dude. If demons could do anything, why do they want to be human so bad?
That's why I have such contempt for people who try or do commit suicide. Like, you idiot! Like, do you not realize what you had? That's what having God in your life does. Is that you never forget to have gratitude for being alive. You wake up, you take a breath, man, I'm alive.
That's what Thanksgiving.
I'm alive.
That's what Thanksgiving's all about, man. It's not about some made up bullshit story about some dudes floating over here on a boat with some sails made by some lady sewing it together.
Hey, you know, Wally joined us, eh?
Yeah, hey, Wally, well, welcome into the microcosm.
So before we leave this topic, I just want to say, like,
we're good.
The thing about that was I wasn't afraid or anything like that. But I really did feel like when you have like in the movie Hellraiser, when you click that Rubik's Cube thing, it just unlocks everything. Like, I did something by striking that particular pose that way, like prompted by these lights and music and everything else.
What about
to move in a way that I normally wouldn't move? And it just makes me wonder, like, how often, like you hear about, like, you see like the voodoo rituals, you see like these other dances in ancient cultures.
Did you open the pathway?
Summon the other side that way.
Did you open the pathway for the Kundalini rush? Did you have a Kundalini?
Well, maybe, but you know what I felt like? I felt like Mick Jagger for a second. Not like in a good way, like not in a bad way necessarily either. Just like it wasn't me. Does that make sense? Like I felt like for a minute there, I was channeling whatever Mick Jagger was channeling. Like, and I know the designers of the game at the time making those moves were just trying to probably make you move like Mick Jagger and make you psychologically think that way. But it seemed like more than that, man. It really did, and it makes me wonder, like, how many other things are like that? Like, obviously,
everything in that world is leveraged. You have no friends. Because when you get into that psychic game, it's power. It's power of mind. Some of these dudes, man, telekinesis, they can attack you remotely. Bartzis did that. Andrew Bartzis did that, okay? Attacked people all the time. He killed people. I wrote 2 articles about it. But the thing about that world is you have no friends. When you meet somebody who's sincerely on the path to God, you've met a real friend and you share everything, right? Yeah. And there's no competition. No. That Illuminati world, that Sidis game, like the mental powers.
It's all about power.
That's Highlander, man. There can only be one.
That's right. It's all about power, man. That's why it's better to.
It was real. I could say, like, that was a real sensation, man. And it happened more once. I did it 2 weeks ago when I first got the system. It's on the headset for the Quest 3. I mean, I have the game otherwise, but I bought that pack, right?
So, hey, we've been joined.
And then again, just to check it. And man, I'm telling you, there's something to that. There is.
We've been joined by Wally. Hey, Wally, what's happening, man?
Hey, Jimmy.
What's on your mind? What's on your mind, dude?
Well, this is interesting. I was listening to you earlier, and I just sent Bruce a video to check out and let me know. I mean, I'm watching. This guy has really got good facts going, but things are changing in my life, just what you're talking about right now. I do a lot of meditation. I do a lot of praying. I was born and raised a Catholic, and that is one of the worst things to try to break away from, that pedophilia.
Nomine Padre, Spiritu, et Dominus. Amen.
Amen.
But it's now starting, just what you were talking about, Bruce. Because I've been doing a lot of meditating. I probably should learn yoga. Probably go farther. But it's amazing what's coming down, and everybody's saying, I'm wearing tinfoil hats, and I just smile at them and I forgive them. I don't argue with anybody anymore because we all have our opinion, just like we all have an asshole. Some are just, a little bit weird with theirs. But yeah, and I've been, it seems to be things are changing now, and I've been. It's been a number of years I've been meditating and asking the questions, talking to Elohim. I use a name, and it's there's some things I use out of the Bible, like the Our Father. I also add, after I say that, thank you for the strength, the courage, the knowledge, the wisdom, the discernment. Jehovah Jireh, which is the God of prosperity. Thank you for the abundant prosperity and abundance. And always ask for the from Elohim, the protection in the palm of his hand. Those are things I'll probably say 10 times a day. When I get into my vehicle, I do it, for the protection.
Listen, when you go, yoga is more than some class down at the local, wherever you take it. Yoga has a lot more to it than just that. That's just one aspect of it. It's like Madonna mentioning the Kabbalah, and then a bunch of people getting into it, and the Kabbalah that they were getting into is not the Kabbalah, right? Yoga is more than just a practice down at the local yoga space or whatever. Let's go do some hot yoga or whatever, where everybody goes in there and they turn up the heat and they sweat and they're doing the downward dog in yoga pants. See, I'm telling you, man, maybe the Christians are right. Maybe yoga is of the devil. Because yoga pants, I don't know. Since yoga pants, we were saying at the beginning of the show, yoga pants and the downgrade of Western civilization, there's almost a correlation there, Bruce.
Only when men wear the yoga pants. Yeah.
We were saying that yoga pants
it's all
aren't
coming
just
out now, and people aren't picking up on it. Like the documentary series, whole TV show they did on Playboy and Hugh Hefner, and the levels of pure
they got that from me.
They got it from us, dude.
He had girlfriends who caught him shagging a dog. Come on, man. It's just ridiculous.
Epic journeyman.
They had cameras in every room, on the stairwell, in the swimming pool, at the freaking sauna, everywhere, in microphones. Yeah,
we were the first crew on that Playboy mansion, and we should have wrote a book about it, dude. Because years later, all the stuff we brought to the table on that, it's like common knowledge now. It's like foliage in the mammoth's stomach from the.
Well, they got the playmates to confess to it. That's the difference. Like, they're testifying about it, right? So, that's maybe the difference. But some of them did already. There was a Bruce Cosby case that brought it to light because there's court filings about it, and that stuff is
Bill Cosby.
Bill
Cosby, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny because you said Bruce Cosby, a little Freudian slip there. But we actually share the same birthday. We actually share the same birthday, July 12th. Yeah.
I meant Bill Cosby.
Hey, give out Bruce. Give out the phone number.
Why? We got Wally, man.
I know.
You really want to bring the unwashed? I started doing it in the mornings, and I regret it already, Jimmy. No, I'm kidding. 864-810-1039. 864-810-1039.
Hey, evolution. It's not real. What do you think, Wally? Now, we brought the Piltdown Man to the table. We showed that was the missing link is not what they said it was. What do you think? Are you an evolutioner? Or do you believe in evolution or the origin of the species? Go ahead.
In a way, yes. We evolved from what we started out as a baby to where we are now. But I believe we were created. I don't believe we slithered out of the mud.
No. So we evolved as spiritual beings, but as as
that's better put. That's better put that way.
Yeah, because why are there still monkeys?
And we're not sitting in the trees masturbating or peeing on everybody.
Well, maybe
some people
maybe you're not.
Most of the time.
You're not.
Most of the time, yeah. I've got to be careful in the afternoons now if the aliens I watch. Look at the progression of what has happened, how the internet has evolved. Look what they're allowing on the internet. we used to have to sneak to get a Playboy and hide it under the mattress or find a place to hide it. Now it doesn't matter. I mean, you just go to the internet and you've got everything right there, and even more than what you should have. You know, things that are taught at home from your parents, which they don't have time for kids, so they're out seeking everything. And that's why we're running into all these things going on now, because these generations are coming up wild. Agreed.
Naked ladies in a bottle of wine, mama.
All right, listen, we've been joined by Raz, I think's here. Raz, is that you?
Yeah, it's me.
Hey, what's happening,
up?
man? Not much. So
good.
You hearing what we're talking about? Evolution?
Yeah, I mean, I've been listening. That was a colorful conversation right there.
Okay.
I believe the most wisdom piece I got from all of it is that trees do in fact indulge in cannibalism.
They're alive, so why wouldn't that be cannibalism? We just have meat suits. They are bark suits. You know,
birch corn, man. Birch corn.
Well, let me just say this. I'll just say this. I live in one of the most ancient forests on Earth. And I will tell you, the power of these trees is literally would blow your mind.
Amazing.
These trees will hold this fog over the top of them with energy, with ionic energy, and they hold these clouds over here, and they suck moisture out. You know what I mean? It's literally unbelievable, and so it's a magical place to be in here with these trees. Go ahead.
Oh, Jimmy, I'm the same as you. In fact, I go out and I help the trees. The standing dead, I don't cut live trees down. I cut the standing deads, the one, and they in turn, when I thank them, I thank for the wood, and I burn it to heat my house. But it's only standing dead. I do not take a live tree. And yeah, I'm up in the forest too. I'm on the south branch of the Pure Marquette River here in Michigan, one of the best trout streams.
Wow.
Well, it was. Now that chemtrails and whatever is falling into the water, I don't dare eat the fish. I don't dare eat the deer.
No.
No, you know, and cows, you know, I'm getting my meat from the local dairy farmer, which puts no antibiotics in his meat, but still, what are they dropping on them? I mean.
Well, listen, Raz, evolution. I mean,
go ahead.
Where's the missing link? There's no. Is there any question in your mind? I mean, do you think, are you creationist or an evolutionist?
Creationist, yeah, and lab genetics.
Mm-hmm. I think we're hard pressed to find someone who believes in evolution, unless you're in the.
Well, evolution does exist in everything. I mean, objects have evolution. You know, technology has evolution, but does a creature go from one form to another? Does a dolphin go from a dolphin to a dog? No, that's nonsense.
Yeah,
that's not happening.
Does a dolphin even turn into a whale?
No, not.
I mean,
not
it's not even close.
Because right now, we would have a lot of dolphins. Shit, they're drilling.
Well, I mean, what I'll say is like there is adaptation. So, like the original Darwin book is theory of adaptation, right? And that does happen. Like that does. The tortoises you saw in the Galapagos, they do have different necks because of what island they're on.
Yeah,
right. But
the finches do have different beaks because the islands they're on. Right. And so, like in the case of snakes, is probably the best example. You have things like best because I'm amateur herpetologist, I guess. But the fact that you have Jacobs's organ and you have
should they call it adaptation?
Should they call that constrictors? So three different kinds of ways of doing things in the snake world. We have constrictors, and you have pit vipers, and then you have elapids, which are like cobras, kraits, and mambas. So you have short-fanged snakes that don't have they have short fangs with high venom content. You have pit vipers that have
Isn't it more
fangs
adaptation more than evolution?
Well, yeah, but that's my point. Is like this idea of the species can adapt. And adaptation can happen
but that's
pretty fast.
The thing. That's the thing is that's when everyone points at evolution and they point at Darwin, They point at evolution. They point at Darwin. But the thing is, it's not. It's the origin of the book's not called Evolution by Darwin.
Yeah.
It's called Origin of the Species, and there's an evolution is a piece of the origin of the species, but then there's de-evolution.
He was a Christian, by the way. That's the thing that people somehow forget. I don't know why they do. Even though his dad set him up on the
So the
Beagle.
thing is what I'm saying is like a made-up story. You were an ape, and then you evolved, and now you're going to devolve. And that's exactly idiocracy, is it not? We've devolved now, haven't we? We're going back.
Well, wasn't the book something about the Vatican and the Queen funded it or some such?
No, his father. Yeah, his father had all his connections, and he sent him out there.
Do you think
on the
there
Beagle,
was?
right? He bought the whole thing, decked it out. His high. I mean, this is a Freemasonry thing, actually, where it ties into that realm. And then, the story of the Beagle is pretty interesting. I just think that in his case, he got a bum rap a little bit because he never said that a finch is going to become a lion or anything like that. People read it that way.
I'll tell you what. Here's what I think.
Came from ape.
Here's what I think. I know you didn't ask me, and you don't give a shit what I think, but here's what I think. I think there was a big whiteboard presentation of all the Fabian socialists, and they were all there. And every big major story that you say predicted the future, every single one of the people that wrote that story were Fabian socialists. And they all sat there and they said, look, here's where we're going to go. Look, here's the critical path, Bob. I want you to write me some side stories here to build me up to the, the climax here back. We're going to reach the climax in about 200 years. So what we want to do is we want to create this idea of a society that will be controlled by the government, a one world government. We'll call it the New World Order. I mean,
the whole point of that book was to undermine Christianity.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Sorry, Julian.
Undermine what? I missed that.
It was a massive taboo back in the day. If you read that book, you're a Christian, you're walking around with Origin of the Species, you're going to get some serious look.
Yeah,
you're right. That's exactly what it was a torpedo for Christianity. Go ahead, Bruce. Expound on that.
But Darwin was a Christian. So that kind of flies in the face of that. Like in other words, like he was set up by his father, who had a mission for him, of course, right? But Darwin himself always proclaimed himself to be Christian. I mean, you can say he was lying, but I don't think he was. I mean, the observations he made in the Galapagos specifically just pertain to those islands and how the finch's beaks were different because the seeds they had, the tortoises' necks evolved, and the shells evolved. Using the word we use now, but adapted in his language to the island they were on. And that in his case, he didn't suggest necessarily happened over millions of years either. That's kind of came later, So the way that academia now perceives it, in the way that people even then, when they put them on the Scopes monkey trial, that's not actually what it was. It isn't.
No,
I mean it's a long book, man. I know you have
Bruce,
to read it, but it's long.
Give out that number again, Bruce.
864-810-1039. 864-810-1039.
I think it's time to recognize the genius of a little new wave act called Devo. Take a listen to this. Devo. De-evolution. Bruce, get ready to give out that number. Don't do it yet.
Come in, Boogie Boy. You're late. Have you got the papers that Chinaman gave you?
Here it is, Dad. Is it a surprise?
Yes, Boogie. In the past, this information has been suppressed, but now it can be told. Every man, woman, and mutant on this planet shall know the truth about de-evolution.
Oh, Dad, we're all
Geniuses. Freedom of choice.
Original Blue Man Group.
Freedom of choice is what you want. Freedom from choice is what you got.
We're not Ben, we're Devo.
Bruce, give out that number again.
864-810-1039.
It's into the microcosm, late night, Friday night. It's not your granddaddy's late night. No, it's revolution.radio. It's freedomslips. It's not freedomslips.com anymore. It's freeworld.fm, though, and it's the independent broadcast network where you can find Bruce McDonald Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. Pacific. He brings it to the table. He doesn't pull punches, and so on and so forth. And he's got a new book out. Bruce, is that book available?
Well, it'll be about another week and a half, 2 weeks.
About another week and a half. Everybody's on there.
Yeah.
Everybody's on there.
Devil in us.
There you go.
The devil in
It's
us.
coming up, man. The devil. He's everywhere. I'd say
The
devil's publicist is, I would say, doing a better job.
Look, I got to speak here, Jimmy. I got to speak. Do not call me anonymous. It literally breaks Skype. I can't delete it. I can't. It shows message. I have a permanent orange dot on my Skype now from 2 weeks ago when this anonymous person called in.
It's Robin.
Like, I don't know.
It's Robin. Don't get mad at her, man. She's just trying to call in. I know who it is. It's Robin.
It's like, holy spamoli, man.
Sorry.
What a pain in the ass.
Sorry, Robin. For some reason, you can't call into that Skype number.
Why not just get Skype? How could you own a phone now that can't get Skype on it?
Well, maybe,
like, I don't get that.
Well, she doesn't like Skype. I mean, she said so last week. I don't know why. I mean, that's what she said, right, Robin? I mean, I'm going to defend you on this. I mean, if you don't want Skype, it's okay.
She doesn't want to be tracked and traced.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah, I mean, anyway. I get it, you know. But the thing is, like, I mean, they all know what we're doing anyway. You think anything you do on any kind of electronic media isn't monitored by everyone everywhere. Of course it is. I mean,
credit cards, everything is monitored. I mean,
Aftermath. There she goes, shaking that ass on the floor, bumping and grinding that pole. The way she's grinding that pole, I think I'm losing control. Get buzzed, get drunk, get crunk, get fucked up. Hit the strip club, don't forget once, get your dick rubbed, get fucked, get sucked, get wasted, shit faced it, pasted, blasted, puke, drink up, get a new drink.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration? I'm sorry about that. No, it snuck in there. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to play that, but, you know, hey, man, it got away from me. You never know. Sometimes, you know, I'm not that quick on the button. But anyway, so listen. What's that phone number? Really sorry.
864 810 1039. 864-810 1039.
Yeah, it's not the number, Robin. It's just that it doesn't take anonymous calls. If your name's not on there, if you have your identity on your phone blocked so people can't see your name, then that's the issue with Skype. There's nothing to do with you or his phone number or anything like that. That's mostly what it is. In any event, Ronan was twerking on the bar a moment ago in his yoga pants. It's disgusting, man. I'm telling you right now. I've just seen the TikTok, the twerking on the hoods of the police cars. The men in yoga pants. I mean, the exorcisms, the possessions going on in these yoga movements. Listen, I don't know anything about any of that, but I'll tell you this. I don't give a shit where you are right now. Go outside and look up at the moon and tell me what the F that is. There's a star or a planet that's literally right next to the moon right now. Because I went downstairs to get my smokes out of my car. I looked up at the moon and I was like, what the fuck? Well, I've never seen that before, ever. Is this what the flag, this crescent moon with the star?
Bruce, you got me muted.
No, man, you're good to go. 816.
The crescent moon with the star, is that the same configuration? Only the moon is full right now, and that if the moon was in a quarter state, it would be the is that the same configuration? I don't know what's going on with that, but anyway.
This show's like a high school science test.
Let me ask you a question, man.
Sometimes
we have a caller.
You know, there's a reason for that logo. That there is, right?
We have a caller.
Because. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, caller. Come on in.
I was just calling in for Robin, see if she can call me. That conference call, I think 3 lines.
Okay, no worries. Go ahead. All right, go ahead, Epic Journeyman.
No, I was just going to say like that's like a popular flag, right? The Venus against the receding moon.
Venus.
Well, yeah.
Isn't that Lucifer? Venus is Lucifer, right?
It has something to do with the Muslims also, because we're in trouble.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, all the Muslim nations. I don't want to say all. Most Muslim nations have that.
Yeah, when that happens, we're in trouble.
Well, no, but it's
in the middle of that crescent moon. There's going to be hell to put up with.
But
that's what they say. I don't, I didn't really research it a lot, but that's what I'm being told. That's when they're going to kind of take over, and it's getting close.
Don't you think though that the symbol itself, like the receding moon with the star Venus right against it? I mean, a star, the planet Venus against it. It's representing something, right? Like it's representing that the moon has less influence and the stars have more, and it's like a spiritual context, right? Like where it means that we're getting more information that's not blocked by the earthly moon, and it's I know it's weird and it's elaborate and it may be totally out of context, but that's kind of what it is. I think it's just saying, like from a spiritual standpoint, it's saying that it's that interval. That's an interval between the height of the moon's influence and the height of the star's influence, where they both meet together, right? It's esoteric, and it's actually a pretty powerful image. And all logos that work and have been around for years and centuries are that way because they are powerful. They do work, and that one does.
Well, here, man, I'm gonna throw this out on the table. Have you ever taken a look at what it took to graduate the 8th grade in 1895?
Yes, I have actually.
It was no gimme.
Let me just say, here's one of the.
Nobody could pass that test. I won't say nobody, but it's hard.
Here's just one of the grammar tests. You got 1 hour for this. There's 9 questions. Here's just one question. Give the 9 rules for the use of capital letters. Anybody on here? Anybody? Bruce would be the only one that I would think.
I didn't listen because I was actually typing.
Okay.
What's going on?
Give me the 9 rules for the use of capital letters. Grammar.
Capitalization.
Well, beginning of a sentence, proper noun.
2.
Personal pronoun.
3.
Acronyms and abbreviations.
4, 5.
So that's 2 different ones.
4, 5.
Title case.
Let's see what else. Oh, this is it purely grammar or does it go into
5.
law? Because there's certain
5.
legal statuses that have to be all caps,
This is
right?
This is grammar.
Law
This is
it's gonna be
grammar.
law too, because
It's grammar.
it has to be.
It's 8th grade. It's grammar.
Well, no, but no.
There was no law in the 8th grade in the 1800s.
Oh.
Sorry.
What's word, Bruce?
Titles would be another section heading.
No, exactly. Titles, but when it was talking about the person, the entity in play,
don't get caught
it's not a name. It's like a title.
That's 7,
right?
That's 7, man.
All right, listen. We're moved on. U.S. history, 45 minutes. Listen, U.S. history, 45 minutes. Here's just one question. Just one question. Give the epochs into which the U.S. history is divided.
There's only one. No, there's only one. There's only one. Unless you go back and believe like we're talking about. Like it goes back.
Name events. There's a second history question. Number 8 in the history questions.
There's only one epoch. There's only one epoch of America.
Okay, I don't know what the answer is myself.
There's only.
But I'll tell you right now, we'll see. Okay, but listen to this. Here you go. Listen to this. You're in the 8th grade. You're some farm kid, orphan. You're in the 1-room schoolhouse, and you're supposed to know this. Name events connected with the following dates: 1607, 1620, 1800, 1849, and 1865. You only had 45 minutes for this test, too, by the way.
1865 is the Civil War. That's all I want to know. 1607 has something to do with King James Bible, probably.
Yeah, it's the King James Bible. Yeah.
Yeah, and then
some of those rules change when you go to Kate L. Turabian English, and there's different authors that set different rules for capitalization kind of stuff. I don't know them offhand. I've got Robin on the line with me, though.
Oh, hey, Robin. All right,
the
hold
point
on.
is we have to think about it.
Hold on.
darling.
Yeah, hey,
Can
Robin.
you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you. Hold on one question, because here's
I'll
one.
wait. I'll wait. You
Yeah.
let me know when you're ready.
Yeah, because here's this one, geography. Okay, here's one question. First question. What is climate, and upon what does climate depend?
That goes back to the Farmer's Almanac from Ben Franklin. That's a cheat, actually. I know the cheat on that. Yeah. So it's the seasons and the position of the rotation of Earth. That's going to be what it is.
He's a
reincarnated. I'm sorry, but that's what it is.
Epic Journeyman's a reincarnated from the 1800s. Okay, Robin, you finally reached the microcosm. Please.
Yeah, bless that young man who hooked me up.
Yeah,
Thank
man.
you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so
it's
young.
been
I'm almost 60.
And also, Bruce, don't worry. I don't get offended, and I understand the frustration. So no worries there. I love
no
you.
worries. Yeah, I love you too.
No worries.
You want to know how bad the world is now? You guys have no idea how bad the world really is now. Do you want to know how bad it is?
Yes.
Okay. You know how, like, when Santa comes, like, if you've been good, you get presents, and if you've been naughty, you get nothing?
You get cold.
The elves are done their tabulations for the global child population below 12, and most houses are going to get jacked by the elves.
Cool.
Well, can I say something real briefly?
They're actually going to go down the chimney and rob the silver and stuff. This naughty and nice thing is out the window. Santa's jacking houses now. That's how bad we are as a human race.
All right, well, let Robin jump in here and give us a
I just
sense
want to
of...
say something here, because this is a vision that I've been getting, and it's not very pretty, and it's not going to sound pretty. But what I see is the majority of humanity standing on the gallows with their hands tied behind their back with a noose around their neck. No yoga pants.
No yoga pants?
No yoga pants. And not even the courtesy of having a hood over their head and waiting for the hangman to come pull the trigger. And that's what I think they're going
to I think they prefer the guillotine this time around.
Yeah, well, that's another option, but that's the vision I keep seeing.
You
and
know,
it's
your
like,
local
instead
gun
of
range and tell
focusing,
them that they
and
have to take out the county courthouse.
But see, where my mind, where my mind is focused is on the future, and these people, these controllers, what people think are the controllers, are basically cowards. And the bottom line is this: and instead of focusing on what they're doing and what they're not doing and blah 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 blah, humanity needs to start focusing and coming up with their own war strategy about how they're going to set themselves free from this thing, whatever this thing is, that's trying to put them on the gallows and hang them. And so humanity needs to start focusing on things about creating a new future for themselves. And they've been so bamboozled with all the bread and circuses and all this nonsense and the black hole, which is the phone and the computers and the technology and all this stuff. Not that it's bad or anything. I'm not saying it's bad or good. I'm just saying that people have been so addicted to this thing that they don't even commune with each other on a personal level.
Yeah.
From a heart-to-heart place.
Mm-hmm.
And so, we need people that are going to start focusing and coming up with some workable, actual strategies for humanity to start turning this ship around, because this is getting ridiculous. Because the more we focus on what they're doing or what they're not doing and all the bullshit that's coming out of the mouths of the politicians and all these other people, whatever they are. Anyways, the thing is that that's what keeps you bound. And so we have to get free of that within our own consciousness and within our own mind, because our spirits are stronger than their weakness. And so we have to understand this, and we need to start getting together. And when it comes to like community and stuff like that, I keep seeing like small communities of people, you know, forming little communities, like, you know, 10 to 20, 25 people, where you all come together organically, and you're managing your own food, your own water, you're building your own homes, you have your own little businesses that you're doing, you know, it's, you know, where you're self-sustained and self-sufficient in and of yourself, outside of all of these other controlling entities, which is the state, basically. And so most people don't even know what the difference is between a citizen and a state versus a state, meaning like capital C, capital lowercase c, or uppercase S and lowercase s, because it's all commerce. It's all money. It's all about money. And so when you take your mind out of that equation, then maybe you can start focusing on other ways to sustain for a more healthier, happier, enjoyable, peaceable way of living.
Robin.
And I don't know if that's a possibility. I don't know.
Robin.
It's like what?
Robin.
I'm listening.
Robin.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
You can? Robin.
Yes.
Have a piece of cheesecake. And
I did. I had a piece of apple pie today.
Okay, good. Yeah. Right on.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a world of good, right? Especially in the morning with coffee. It's freaking fantastic.
I know.
Cold apple pie.
But I don't know. I mean, I'd be happy to hear some of your feedback on what kind of the stuff I was just spewing out of my mouth. But.
There's one thing I'd like to interject here. You know, Robin, the thing is the majority of people are going to walk up the steps to the gallows, just like the Lemuels walking over the cliff. I have clients. I take care of houses in the woods, these cabins in the woods, and almost all my clients have gotten the jab, all of them. And what they don't realize.
Don't talk about that on here.
Oh, okay. But
yeah, it's the thing. Yeah, we.
But we don't do that, man.
They're going to freely walk up the stairs. Right. The majority of people.
Yeah,
There's
you know what they're going to be doing?
That won't.
Here, you know what they're going to be doing? They're going to be doing exactly what we were talking about earlier when they go to nightclubs. They're going to be taking selfies of themselves as they're going up the stairway to the gallows.
Yep.
Exactamundo. Go ahead.
They're doing that right now. Look at the internet. I mean, these women are selfies, totally naked. The guys, you know, look at my abs, look at my arms. You know, me. I mean, it's just they're already programmed.
And this is why I was saying that people who are conscious and aware need to form little communities where they're kind of what Bruce is doing, you know, where he's at. But we need to spread that out to where more people are, you know, and you have to vet people, because not everybody is going to, you know, and there has to be a strategy. There has to be a strategy, and that needs to be implemented so that those of us who are not buying into all of this stuff, we have a way of sustaining ourselves around our other fellow brothers and sisters who just want to live life in peace and just don't want to be molested and just want to get on with our lives, you know, and just enjoy it rather than being the way we are now. We're all like spread all over the country and all over the world, and we don't have connection. The only connection we have is through the internet or through YouTube or what we're doing here. And we need to come together.
Man. Yeah, give that up. There's no the environment you're talking about, the kind of community-based refuge requires you to give up the things that have you go into filter bubbles and feedback loops. Those are the things that are weaponized, right? So the only way to get away from them is to take those away. Like the first rule, no cell phones, pretty much. I mean, that's really where we have to go. I mean, I don't know how there's a way to get around it. Otherwise, there's not.
Yeah, I just don't see any other way out other than I mean, because I'd be, you know, more than happy if I had a place where I knew I could go and I was going to be, you know, loved and everybody was helping one another. And, you know, you're going to have your squabbles and stuff, but at least you're mature enough to rectify it all. You know what I mean? You're not going to hold grudges or call people names, but you work things out, you know.
You see how it ties into what we were talking about earlier in the show? Like, kind of the theme, in a way, is that this ancient civilization, this ancient culture that was before us, had to shield us from knowledge, right? Like the tree of knowledge, like in the Garden of Eden, right? They had to shield us from that, right? Because we're going to destroy ourselves if we have that knowledge. And we're talking about going back to Eden by getting rid of our access to that kind of knowledge, those things that put us in those very feedback loops and filter bubbles in the first place. Right. So it is. It's like you have to go. We're talking about going Amish, but what is Amish really? It's going back to nature. It's going back to eliminating the outside influence, just having the community life influence of the people around us, and what we combine to do ourselves.
Well, we got to get ourselves back to the garden. You know?
It's really quite painless if you get Starlink.
I think it's the most healthiest way to go.
Yeah, you know,
because for me, gardening is. I'm sorry.
I'm going to take all this as compliments. I'm going to take all of this as compliments.
Yeah. No, actually, to what we're describing, you have to kind of get rid of Starlink too. I mean, you have to give it away. You have to give it up. I mean, the only way to be in the garden, so to speak, is to give up the tree of knowledge, right? The fruit of tree of knowledge.
Yeah, really I agree. I totally agree, and I'm more than willing to do that. It's just finding others who also want to share in that simple vision. You know, where you have a water supply and where you have a way of providing for the community has a way of providing for itself with little to no outside interference. Yeah, you're going to go out there occasionally to get supplies and stuff like that, but then you have your haven. It's kind of like when you have a home, that ought to be that's like your castle, you know, and it should be peaceable, you know what I'm saying, and not all this war going on inside your home. And so you've got a world of people. I'm sorry, go ahead. I'm listening.
I was just saying you should be, your home is protection. It should be, but, you know, now they just kick the doors in and don't give a shit. Yeah.
The invaders. I mean, it's like, it's this total invasion right now. And I mean, you even have that example with the technology. I mean, even your personal data and your information can be invaded upon, you know, by unscrupulous people. And so it's like, okay, where's our safety? Where's our peace? Where's our rest? You know, we need to create that for ourselves as a human species. And what got us to this place to where we're devouring each other? You know, it's like we're devouring each other. I mean, there's not too many species that devour their own kind. There's a few of them, you know, but the majority of the species on the planet, they don't devour their own kind. But humans do it on a moment-to-moment basis, and they don't think twice about it. I don't get that mindset.
Take a listen to this.
Do we have a deal, Mr. Reagan?
You know, I know this steak doesn't exist. I know that when I put it in my mouth, the Matrix is telling my brain that it is juicy and delicious.
It's juicy and delicious.
Naked ladies in a bottle of wine, mama.
He knows he knows the steak doesn't exist, but when he puts it in his mouth, the Matrix is telling him it's juicy and delicious.
Be careful.
But you see, this is the problem. If you allow an outside source to influence your consciousness and your thoughts, then you're already gone.
Well, it doesn't.
You can't allow that.
Isn't everything an outside influence other than what goes on in the privacy of your own brain? But your privacy of your own brain is not yours anymore because now you're being influenced by other things inside the privacy of your own brain.
Yes.
Well, you decide because you're the gatekeeper. You decide what comes in and what stays out.
The only way
and that's an individual thing.
The only way to keep it out is to go up to the mountain. Go and stay over with Bruce McDonald in an earthbag house, the Talamanca Mountains, Costa Rica.
Yeah, I swear to God, it's a hillbilly condo. You cannot believe how comfortable this place is now, and how aesthetically pleasing with the hardwood drop ceiling that my brother-in-law cut with a chainsaw, planed himself, a month to dry the wood. It's just gorgeous. Now I'm getting the back building done. I'm starting my tourism. I think I'm going to market exclusively to Germany. The Germans love the natural experience. It's the Wim Wenders experience. Oh, man, Germans are the best.
When I first moved to Maui in the 80s, you couldn't go to a bush and hit the side of the bush without a German coming out. Because they were all like here camping for the surfing competitions and windsurfing and stuff. I mean, I'm not kidding. And they all have these fantastic tents, by the way. Like super high tech, like a UFO.
When I build the website, I'm just going to have a mini fridge in the back full of Heineken. That'll bring them in.
There you go. That's it. All right, listen.
I remember reading a statement. I can't remember who the author of the statement was, but it kind of went like this. It went like, "There's no way of being closer to God than by being in nature."
Well, listen.
And when you're in nature, that's where you really can connect.
We're out of time. We're out of time, Robin.
All right. Well, love you all.
Peace out.
See you tomorrow night on the Independent Broadcast Network, 7 a.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Pacific. Hey, I see Rockin' Rio over there in the chat ski on YouTube. All the radio networks are gone. We're only here on YouTube now.
Me too. So how's it going, Rio?
Say hey, Rio. What's up? Are you here in the call? Is he here?
It's in the chat.
Yeah, I see him.
Might be traveling. It might be at a rest stop on the way to or fro.
I don't think
Texas. I don't know.
I don't think he's driving though. I don't know.
Yeah, the day after Thanksgiving, it's hard to know. It could be
coming
back.
He doesn't drive, man. He flies. He goes
like an eagle.
Yeah, like an eagle, exactly. All right, you ready to head out? I don't know. It doesn't look like he's coming, but maybe tomorrow night he'll join us.
Yeah, sure thing. Yeah, I mean, I thought it was an interesting concept to address. I know it's kind of anticlimactic, but I'm telling you, man, that strike pose thing. There's something to that. There is.
I know, dude. That's what I was saying. These people are like, I mean, that idea of the club and people going and dancing, they don't even dance. They just dance for a minute. Yeah, he's in Texas. I thought so. All right, well, listen, maybe he'll be here tomorrow night, maybe he won't. But in the meantime, Epic Journeyman, let's GTFO, brother, because I need to eat, bro. I got some I got some prime rib. We had prime rib for Thanksgiving. And so
that sounds good.
I know. I got some slices up in there and a baked potato. I'm ready to eat. Been sitting here thinking about it for the last 20 minutes.
I was so poor growing up. Thanksgiving was my favorite holiday because I got to eat.
Damn.
No joke, man.
Well, listen.
Never rubbed off.
You ready to go? Here we go.
Yep.
All right. We'll see you guys tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. You going to be here tomorrow night? Epic?
Maybe. I was gonna. Why? But we had that thing at the plant that I had to go handle last night, so I'm going to stay here.
All right, cool.
Some friends of mine just the other night went to hear this cool cat blow. They said he sang so good that the roof fell in and he didn't even stop the show.